Oh, I'm Lisa Brady. The Justice Department says not so fast in the court fight over the president's travel ban. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern is live in Washington.
The Trump administration is asking the federal judge who first blocked enforcement of the president's travel ban to hold off on any further proceedings until an appeals court decides if it will take a second look. Late last week, a judge on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals requested both the federal government and attorneys for Washington State and Minnesota to file briefs on whether the full appeals court should reconsider the ruling that upheld a restraining order preventing implementation of the executive order. A hearing on how that challenge could proceed is scheduled for later today. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. President Trump reiterating and defending his goal to keep America safe.
Maybe a certain toughness, but it's really more than toughness. It's a stance of common sense, and we are going to pursue it vigorously.
This as he hosts Canada's Prime Minister, also focusing on trade. Fox Radio's John Decker live at the White House.
In his first meeting with his Canadian counterpart, President Trump vowed to stick by one of his campaign promises and renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement.
We have a very outstanding trade relationship with Canada. We'll be tweaking it. We'll be doing certain things that are going to benefit both of our countries.
The president acknowledged that his bigger concern is the Mexican end of the trade deal. Both leaders agreed to disagree over the issue of border security and immigration, with Prime Minister Trudeau saying that he won't lecture the U.S. on how they should govern. Lisa?
Thanks, John. New all-time highs on Wall Street. The Dow up 142 to 20,411. The 41-year-old son of convicted child molester Jerry Sandusky is now charged with child sex abuse. Prosecutors say the allegations against Jeffrey Sandusky involve the two teenage daughters of his live-in girlfriend. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Progress at the country's highest dam after a weekend overflow and sudden evacuation orders for nearly 200,000 residents in Northern California.
An emergency spillway that was on the brink of collapsing, we were told yesterday. It is holding, and also the level here in Lake Oroville is starting to drop. It's down to about 896 feet. That's about 4 feet below capacity, well below the rim.
Fox's Claudia Cowan in Oroville, where officials are sending more water over a different spillway to bring the lake down further before the next storm arrives later this week. For now, the evacuation order stands as they work on ways to get residents back in once it's safe. A federal judge denies a last-minute request to block work on the completion of the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline.
U.S. District Judge James Boasberg rejects the Standing Rock Sioux and Cheyenne River Sioux Native American tribes' argument that the Dakota Access Pipeline on public land would endanger their cultural sites and water supply. The decision just days after the Army Corps of Engineers gave developers the green light to finish the $3.8 billion pipeline in North Dakota. It's been the cause of so much controversy amid months of continued protests and delays by the Obama administration. Energy Transfer Partners says it expects the pipeline to be operational in under 3 months. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Even if a car accident isn't your fault, your insurance rates could still go up. A new study finds hikes of as much as $400 after no-fault claims.
The Consumer Federation of America investigated premium quotes in 10 cities from 5 of the country's biggest auto insurers. It found Progressive aggressively used a not-at-fault penalty to raise rates in 8 of the cities.
Fox's Carmen Roberts. Geico, Farmers, and Allstate raised them sometimes. Only State Farm had no penalties for innocent drivers in this study. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Greetings.
Hello.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert this winter? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS, or you can visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 33. Tuesday, mostly sunny, high 51, a low of 26. Wednesday, cools off, high 37, a low of 26. But this weekend, 60s.
Wow.
60s.
And I'm going to be gone.
In Florida? That's right, you're leaving soon.
Yeah.
Right now, sunny, clear. It's nice. 46 in Champaign-Urbana.
Dang it! It's not like I think you know me. I'm not like a donkey's behind when it comes to that, but it's always nice when you can leave and it's like 10 degrees and you go to somewhere warm.
Yeah.
When it's 60 degrees, I'm going to be like, why am I going?
Torin might be outside for the first time of his life for a long time. This will be nice. Take him for a walk.
Yeah, he'll be able to get out and wrap around. That's awesome. Hey, it's the Tay and J Show. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. We got a busy show today. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to talk a lot about Illinois. And then can we not talk about Illinois the rest of the week? I'm kidding. That's kind of tough not to.
Kind of a big topic, but I think we can focus on what's next for the entire program.
Exactly.
I mean, you lose at home to Penn State and get dominated at home by Penn State, Lon, and you fall to 4-9 in the Big Ten. No doubt 13th best team in the Big Ten. And that Rutgers game is going to be a big one.
It should be a battle.
Going to be a big one.
Could be another triple overtime guy.
I mean, it's sad.
It is.
It's sad
really
that
sad.
on February 13th, with a roster full of his players healthy, that we have to talk about John Gross's likely replacement.
Right.
Because I don't think he's left Josh Whitman with any other choice.
I don't either. And it's sad for us as fans.
Yeah.
I mean, this is sad, right? I don't like coaching changes, and you want the coach that you're rooting for to win because that means your team is winning, and unfortunately it's not, and here we go. And I guess there is one thing, let's be honest, it is kind of fun to talk coaching changes. Gives us something to talk about. It kind of gives you some optimism going forward. You hope for a Lovie Smith kind of splash higher,
and that's Whitman's job.
Yeah,
and that's Whitman's job, is to renew hope in this program.
Exactly.
That now for 11, 12 seasons has not been good.
It hasn't.
And this is huge for Josh Whitman, because this hire, if you don't get it right or you don't make this correct decision, say you go at Gross for another year,
right,
or you hire the wrong guy, guys, you're talking about nationally and regionally completely irrelevant.
Oh, without a doubt.
We all Illinois fans can talk about, we have the top 15 wins all time, and hey, 2005, remember that? Or 89, remember that? Or 2001, remember that? Was a long time ago.
It really is.
It's like when I'm a Bears fan.
That's right.
And people keep bringing up 85.
That's right.
It was a long time ago.
2005 is 11 years ago.
These recruits you're recruiting?
12 almost.
There were 6.
Yes.
There were 5.
It's unbelievable.
Right? I mean, that's what you're talking about with that team. That was a long time ago.
Yes.
And you have been, Big Ten irrelevant.
Yes.
For all 5 years, really, of John Gross, where he finished in the bottom half of this thing.
Right.
Bruce Weber obviously led it to this point, and Gross has made it probably even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So now you need to find a guy to bring it all back. And that's where the pressure now for the next month is on Josh Whitman. But it's that point. Like, how can you bring him back?
You can't.
You can't bring him back because you're not winning out.
No.
This team hasn't won back-to-back games.
Right. They
haven't won back-to-back Big Ten games
since 2015,
in 2 years.
Unbelievable.
In 2 years. So there's no way they're doing that.
No.
This is probably going to be a 6-win Big Ten team.
Yeah.
Maybe 7.
I had a buddy predict 4.
Well, they're sitting at that right now. I don't know if this team's going to give up. It's just not a good basketball team. It's not well coached. They don't execute very well. They don't defend.
No.
They're not very athletic. All of these things.
Everything.
We could sit there and go, what's the problem? There's a lot of them.
There's multiple. And it is funny, the track we've been on when you cover a team is early on in the season, you have the hope, you have the optimism, a few things go right, a couple of duds, Winthrop happened, you sit there in your mind.
But you didn't have many other duds.
Right, exactly.
You didn't have any bad losses. And then,
So in your mind, you're kind of shoving that aside, and I can even remember arguing back then. No, I remember this argument to you. Somebody had called in and said, well, Illinois is only winning by like 8 against these teams, and I'm like, hey, just check the Big Ten. I promise you this happens all around the country. There's going to be those games where you squeak by Tennessee State. So then you get to the Winthrop loss, and it's like, well, this stuff can happen. Indiana lost to whomever that team was, and Bowling Green or whatever, and it's like, these things happen. You just have to get a road win later or a big win later to make up for it. Then you get in the Big Ten, and you just realize, and I did the very stinking first day that I watched Big Ten basketball, I just looked at the other teams playing, and I thought there is a talent differential between Illinois and a lot of these teams. There are a few that are equal with you, but there are a lot of these teams that I felt at the time there was a talent differential, and now here we are down the road, and it's just like, get this thing over with.
And you know what proved it Saturday? Penn State has a brighter basketball future than Illinois.
I tweeted that out, and I agree.
Yeah.
They have passed you.
Nebraska?
Yep.
Right now, I would probably buy more stock in Tim Miles' program.
Yeah, because you've got a couple of sophomores in Morrow and Watson and some other kids that are coming on. Yeah, I agree. Iowa, that's got all the freshmen.
I'm taking Iowa.
Yep.
I mean, they have some young kids. Michigan, obviously taking Michigan. Northwestern.
Yes.
With a huge win yesterday.
No, that was huge.
I mean, Chris Collins is amazing. That's a great hire. What a great hire does for your program. The teams that sit there and go, I might still take Illinois is Rutgers. In Ohio State?
Yeah, but I'm not. I would still take Ohio State.
Yes,
right?
I agree with you because the talent base there is still just a little bit better.
And then I sit back and I look, okay, where did this go wrong? Did this go wrong the day John Gross was hired?
No,
I don't think so either. So I mean, it's like, where did this all
go wrong? There are so many. Derek Piper is going to join us in studio.
So many avenues you're going to travel.
In about 20 minutes. No, I think this month we're going to do a series of where it went wrong.
Okay, I can't wait to read that.
And on the top of the list has to be point guard.
Yes.
The fact that you have a point guard system and couldn't land a guy that's effective until your fifth year.
Jeremy, I'm sitting here. I know I'm interrupting you. Today, I'm talking to a buddy, and I'm like, you've got Tracy Abrams, who shouldn't even be here. He's 25 years old.
What is he doing here?
Why are you here? No, and I love the kid, obviously, but
No, it's like Clerks. He's like, I'm not supposed to even be here.
See, you and Cart bring up references. I did see that show, though. So you look at this. So here's your point guards this year. In John Gross's fifth season, you've got a freshman that he did not trust until halfway through the season, and now all of a sudden he might be your best player on the court. Then you've got Jalen Tate, who probably at a lot of schools never would have made the court at Big Ten schools.
Should have been a backup at a mid-major.
That's exactly right. And then you've got Tracy
Abrams. It's not his
Abrams.
fault Illinois gave him a scholarship.
You got Tracy Abrams, who's actually within 20 years of my age, and I'm stinking old. So you look at that and you think, what were you doing, Gross? What were you doing? He did. He went after Juwan. He had Quentin Snyder.
He just whiffed on the wrong ones.
That's where it went wrong.
Well, Quentin Snyder, you can't blame him.
No.
Going to Watson, you can.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Those are the kind of ones where it's like you got to find the guy for your system, and he didn't find the right guys for his system.
This is it for me. This is all the passion I got left. Right, I'm giving it off. You all.
Can I give you a quick rundown of the other ones?
Yes.
Transfers.
Yeah.
I mean, we went down that list so many times, but out of 9 scholarship years, he invested into transfers in his first couple years. 2 of Ravante Rice worked out.
Wow.
I mean, Aaron Cosby used 2 years of transfer years on him, or 2 years of scholarships on him. He got a half a year of, yeah, 1 good game, I think.
That's right. He
Ahmad
did have a good
Starks, 2 years of scholarships invested in him. Wasn't good enough.
No.
Darius. And then Darius Paul.
3 years.
You spent 3 years on him.
Wow.
And then even think about Mike Thorne.
Yeah, right.
2 years. And
you've gotten a half a year out of him.
If you had had him for last year, that would have been obviously ideal, kind of like Ahmad Starks, but 2 years of scholarship out of him, what did it get you?
No, it didn't. And you know what?
It didn't get you much.
And if you can recall, and then you go to your next point, this is point counterpoint. If you can recall back in the day when John Gross replaced Bruce Weber, the classes were it was like 5 seniors, no juniors, 3 sophomores. Yeah. I think, and I remember saying it at the time. I'm like, I think John Gross's hardest task is to balance these classes.
And the thing about John is there was rationale behind all of this.
There's no doubt.
Right? Ahmad was supposed to be immediately eligible.
Yep.
Right? And he would have helped you.
That's right. I forgot.
He probably would have helped you make a tournament in his second year, right?
Yeah. And Darius.
Aaron Cosby made a lot of sense. Darius Paul made a lot of sense because they were good, proven Division I players who kind of bridged the gap to his recruits. Mm-hmm. It just didn't work out.
Is that just bad evaluation or is that bad luck?
And then there you go.
Oh, okay.
Injuries killed him. No matter what you think of him, injuries really hurt him.
They totally did.
Because you can never build this thing up the way you wanted to. The fourth one, I would put Staff.
Yeah, I agree.
I think just like Bruce Weber, we mentioned this, I think he was loyal to a fault for some guys.
I mean, there's never been one change to the staff, and you're about ready to miss your fourth.
You had a strength coach change.
No, that's true.
You had, director of basketball operation.
Right.
Operation, but your assistant staff when it comes to guys who recruit, and more importantly for me, guys who game plan.
Yeah.
Guys who help make decisions in games. I think that's really, really hurt John.
Totally agree. I totally agree. So I cannot wait to read that.
And then you could talk about the off-the-court stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, losing Kendrick Nunn, probably his best recruit.
That's true.
Right? I mean, that is a crushing blow that we don't talk about enough this year.
We have hardly brought that up.
I don't know if Kendrick Nunn is the difference between this team making a tournament or not.
Right.
I don't know. But he was your best athlete. He was a 14-point-a-game scorer.
Yeah, that hurts.
He was a guy who is probably a starter on every Big Ten team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's fair. I think that's fair, and I think we're past the point, and I know you're not doing this. We're past the point of trying to come up with excuses.
No, it's not excuses anymore. Those happened under your watch. You are the leader of this program, and there are too many things to be like, it's all bad luck. And even if it was bad luck, here's what it is.
Exactly.
And it's the worst Illinois basketball has been.
Yes.
I mean, he's going to finish of multi-year coaches, Lon. He is going to finish with by far the worst Big Ten winning percentage
of all the
any multi-year coach.
Wow,
that's been here long because Bartow was only here a year.
Yeah, right,
went 4-14.
Right.
John Gross is 33.
And then went to UCLA.
Right.
Yeah,
John Gross is what 32 and 52 or 33 and 52 in the Big Ten.
So you've got Tim Beckman, who arguably, and Mark Tupper said it the other day, and although I think we would agree, the worst football coach Illinois has ever had. And then John Gross, who record-wise in the Big Ten is going to go down as one of the worst Big Ten or Illinois basketball coach you've ever had. Wow.
I mean, four straight missed tournaments would be the first time since 1975 or 1980. Okay. And back-to-back, if they have an overall losing record on, that'd be back-to-back years for Illinois. And that'd be the first time since 1975.
Wow. I mean, that's
the year before Lou Henson got here.
Shocking.
42 years.
And that's overall record,
so how can you bring someone back?
You can't. And for those that are still hanging on by a thread saying, well, this recruiting class coming in,
Illinois needs to do better.
Yes.
They can do better, and now it's Josh Whitman's job to make it better because if it doesn't get better in the next 3 years, I mean, you might have another couple down years or two.
Oh, sure.
But if you don't find a guy who's going to make it better in 3 or 4 years, this program, guys, is no longer some great job. This is a top 25 job because of what happened in 2005 or 1989.
This is a perilous time right now.
It's a huge moment.
It really is.
And it was with football.
Yep.
And then you hire Lovie Smith, and it changes the perception of what that program is and can be. Now you have to do it with basketball, and that's why Josh Whitman was brought here.
Yes.
It's just he can't spend all that goodwill.
No.
And cash it in on one more year of John Gross, where it's a team that, though it's bringing in some talent, that's not a team that I'm going to say, yep, that's a tournament team.
Exactly.
It's probably a team people are going to pick to go 12th in the Big Ten.
And and I thought this the other day too. Illinois fans, they're good fans. I mean, there are some.
I mean, you go to some of these games, Lon, and they make a run just to get back in it, and the crowd's going nuts because they're hungry for it.
They are.
I mean, I always hate saying, "Oh, this fan base deserves better," but they do deserve.
They
better
totally
than
do. Because I don't think they're bandwagon. I think they've just been beat down. And I'm honest when I say this. I don't have season tickets for basketball. I don't go to many basketball games. I have season tickets for football.
You've always been that way, right?
Yeah, I've always been that way. So I'll look at it from the football angle. I've just been beaten down for so many years that to get me back excited, it takes a little something. But there I am every fall. Hey, it's opening week of football. Let's go.
Opening day of baseball. This is the year.
And then you bring Lovie in, and I'm like, I'm in, man. Yeah. And you saw how Illinois fans responded. I think they will respond. They're hungry. You're right. They're hungry for good football success, and I think at least now we see the light at the end of the tunnel, we hope. Now, and they're really hungry for basketball success, and now that's there's no light, and somebody needs to replace it.
This is my opinion, and I don't think it's a shocking opinion. Josh Whitman has to make the move.
He does. He has to.
He has to make the move now.
I mean, it's very disappointing.
It is clear. I mean, I've thought it for a long time here, but it is clear he has to. Yes. He has no other choice but to make this move now because this team is not going on some ridiculous streak. No. They are not winning the Big Ten tournament out of the 13 or 14 seed.
No. That's 5 games.
Against good competition.
You'd have to win 5 straight games.
They can't beat back-to-back Big Ten teams. So it's just not going to happen. So you have to make the move.
You do.
And I expect Josh Whitman to be consulting with everybody. I'm sure he has been already. I don't know that for a fact. We don't know who he wants.
Well, right.
But last night, published my first coaching list.
I saw it. I read it. I liked it.
And it's time to start thinking about those guys, who Illinois can get, who they should go after, because this is the story. Okay. I mean, this is the story now for Illinois basketball.
Well, this hour, Derek Piper, your cohort at IlliniInquirer.com, is going to join us in studio, and you two are going to break down the list that you guys issued or came out with, and I like it. I like the list. The way you did it is you put a few of those, okay, this is a long reach kind of guy, but here it is.
A couple guys I said, some names thrown out there that I think are probably really unrealistic.
But I like that.
But you call them up and make them say no. Yeah. Then there's guys that are in your wheelhouse. There are guys who are kind of fallback guys.
Right.
John Gross probably was one of those. Tim Beckman we know was.
No doubt.
And then there's the outside the box candidates. Okay. It's like, oh, how about this guy? So
I like it.
Yeah, we'll break down some of those.
I'm excited for that. In the 4 o'clock hour, golf fans, we are going to bring on Lance Ringler, golfweek.com. Now, when we have Lance on normally, it's to talk about Illinois golf with Mike Small, and we got to start focusing on that the women's program as well. Did really well last year, but Mike Small, of course, that team, one of the top in the country again. But we're going to talk to Lance a little bit today about the PGA going forward. It has already started. I had somebody the other day say, when does that start? I'm like, are you kidding me? Spieth won yesterday.
Yeah. That's my boy.
I know.
I don't know why.
You like him, don't you?
I think he's got greatness potential.
There's no doubt, and I think he will capture it.
But it's fun because, so does Jason Day.
Yes.
So does Rory McIlroy,
yes.
right?
And Dustin Johnson finally broke that.
Probably the most talented guy
doubt.
out there,
no
right?
Doubt.
When you talk about just pure physical talent. And then you still got Phil.
Yeah.
Who can win any tournament.
And that's kind of one of the questions I want to ask Lance is, what can we expect from the old timers like a Phil or Tiger? Is he officially done?
He'll probably have another surgery.
I know, poor guy. I hate it for him, but
body's broken.
He really has. That's the problem. But we'll talk to Lance Ringler about that in the 4 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we'll also react to Tom Crean's statement last night. Is he on his last legs at Indiana? We got a next question for you. We also have the DP Dough office hook up, your chance to win free lunch for your office of up to 25 people. And Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst, will join us at 5:25. We'll also look ahead a little bit to spring football for Illinois. It
starts tomorrow,
tomorrow. It'll be done. It starts on Valentine's Day. It'll be done 10 days before the official start of spring.
Well, there you go. Can we just call it winter football?
Sure.
Why not? That just sounds better.
It is kind of spring.
It is, right?
Right now.
Lovey's like, well, I didn't know it was going to be 60.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's the number for the Jupiter's the Crossing phone line or the Chief Power text line, 217-359-2255. Download our WSJK app and listen to us anywhere in the world. Watch us live on YouTube. Just search Tay and J Show. You'll see Derek Piper here in a few minutes.
He's tall.
Get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. We're 3 deep with the interns today, Tyler Knight, Harry Black, and you'll hear James Woodard with an update.
Interesting. James has a hat on, so I can't tell. Tyler got a haircut. Harry still needs a haircut. That's the crew.
Oh, that is a subject in next question as well.
Oh, is it really?
Does somebody need a haircut?
Awesome.
It was a great poll question.
Okay. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hey guys, Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show, and for this Illinois basketball season, we have a brand new show on ESPN 93.5 called The 200 Level. Ride the roller coaster with myself and Steve Breitweiser each Monday night at 6, right after the Tay and J Show, every Monday through the NCAA tournament. The 200 Level is brought to you by DP Dough, Chambana Sales, Cheap Hour Service Experts, and Heiser Allstate Agency. The 200 Level, Monday nights at 6, beginning January 9th, only on ESPN 93.5 and streaming online at ESPNCU.com. The Upper Bout in Champaign, a music store with a different kind of attitude. Their showroom features high-quality brands from Gibson, Martin, and Taylor guitars to Vox, Mesa Boogie, and Analog Outfitters amplifiers. The Upper Bout's expert staff will personalize your experience, answering every question and setting up your guitar exactly the way you want it. Whether you're a lifelong musician looking to add to your collection or a lifelong music fan looking to buy your first guitar and take up lessons, the Upper Bout has you covered. Stop by the Upper Bout on Neal Street in Champaign, next to El Toro, or visit them online at theupperbout.com.
checkout.com.
Experience the credit union difference. It's people helping people. Our goal is to serve all of our members well, including those of modest means. Our members are fiercely loyal for this reason. They know their credit union will be there for them in bad times as well as good. Experience the credit union difference with the U of I Community Credit Union. Visit one of our branches today or visit us at uoficreditunion.org.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
From keeping your money safe and secure to helping achieve your financial dreams, the U of I Community Credit Union brings a fighting spirit to the financial wellness of this entire community. Experience the credit union difference. People helping people. And we're helping even more in 2017 with our brand new Member Advice Center. Get free online articles and blogs on a variety of topics related to your financial well-being. Go to uoficreditunion.org.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Hey there, it's me, your furnace, and we have to talk. This isn't easy, but I think you should see other furnaces. A new home comfort system from the experts will save you up to 50% on energy bills and keep you comfortable for years. All I want is for you to be comfortable.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, get a furnace for $499. For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
What are we doing for lunch today?
I know. Fat City Bar and Grill. They have a new lunch menu. I tried it yesterday, and the food's delicious. It's like Champagne's new hidden lunch spot.
Visit Fat City Bar and Grill today and check out their new lunch menu featuring the 6 for $6. That's right, 6 lunch entrees for $6. Try the chili dog with tater tots, chili mac with Texas toast, or the soup and salad lunch special. A fast, affordable lunch is waiting for you today at Fat City Bar and Grill, just off Green Street in Champaign.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
You know, for a second, Lon, I thought you were the guy in charge of James Hetfield's microphone at the Grammys last night. You just weren't going to turn me off.
I was just needing that dramatic pause before we started the update.
I do deserve a dramatic intro, that's for sure. 3:30 from the Sports Center Update Studio. I'm James Woodard with your Sports Center Update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. You can get up to 25% off of your lawn care. That's Prairie View Landscaping at mypvdiscount.com. Illinois dropped their 12th game of the year, this time against Penn State, 80-73. The Nittany Lions went into halftime with a 12-point lead. Illinois made a furious comeback in the second half, cutting the lead to 5 points. That's before letting the game slip away. Malcolm Hill led the Illini with 14. T. Lucas, 11 points, 7 assists in 33 minutes. Next game against Iowa this coming Saturday. Bulls now 3 games under 500. That's after they lose to the Timberwolves 117-89. Coach Thibodeau completes his sweep. Butler, Mirotic, Wade all out with injury. Jordan Spieth has won his 9th PGA Tour event. He took first at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, shooting 19 under par, capturing the nearly $1.3 million purse. Cubs and Cardinals both getting spring training underway. Cardinals pitchers and catchers report today. Cubs will report tomorrow. One of Jerry Sandusky's sons is facing multiple charges of sexual offenses involving children. Court records filed today say 41-year-old Jeffrey Sandusky was charged with 14 counts, including statutory sexual assault, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, 6 counts of unlawful contact with a minor, and 2 counts of photographing, depicting acts and sexual abuse of children. I'm James Woodard with your Sports Center update.
Thank you, James. Hey, Prairie View Landscaping is offering up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care service. Yes, 25% off the entire year of lawn care. And if you sign up by February 23rd, you may win free lawn care for the entire year of 2017. A random winner will be picked on February 23rd. By now, you know the email. Write it down. You've got it memorized. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Email them. You can get a free quote on your lawn care. That's Prairie View Landscaping. Again, mypvdiscount@gmail.com. A chance to win free lawn care for 2017.
Joining us in studio now, Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. You can watch it live on YouTube. Wave to the camera there, Derek. It's Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. What's going on, Derek?
What's up, guys?
You know,
it's time.
What's the time for?
I've been holding out that, hey, this could still happen. and I really don't believe it, but
no.
Derek, after losing at home to Penn State by 20 points, it's just the writing's kind of on the wall right now.
So you're saying there's no
chance.
There's no chance. This team is done, and it looks like this coach is probably done. Like you said, you play Penn State twice. You go on the road. You're down 20 at halftime. You lose that game. You bring Penn State into your house, and you're down 19 in the second half.
Yeah.
And as you guys talked about before, Penn State is clearly the better team, better assembled, more athletes, longer. And that is not something that can happen when you're Illinois basketball.
No.
So now that you're sitting 13th in the Big Ten standings in a no-excuses year with no injuries to speak of, this is a clear evaluation, as we talked about back during the summer, that we wanted to see.
Yes.
This has been very, very clear.
It's funny you said that. The way you said that, and let me repeat it kind of how you said it. This is Penn State, and that shouldn't happen in Illinois. Now, what you're basically saying there, Derek, is that there's been a ton of years in the past that have lifted Illinois to a certain position where we as fans and people around the country look at this program and say, all right, this is where they are. This is probably where like a Penn State is. But the way you're saying it and the way Jeremy started off the show saying it, you're becoming irrelevant right now. And your program now to fans around the country is one that you look at and you say, are they the Penn State? Are we flipping spots now? And that's scary going forward.
Well, that's the problem because this is the roster that John Gross wanted.
Yeah.
I know Kendrick Nunn's not here, but in the offseason when he says, I feel like this group has a chance to do something special. There's nothing special about this team. And when you look at the Big Ten or nationally, not really even close to average. So after 5 years, over the evaluation, going to miss the tournament for the fourth straight year. Time for a change.
What should this roster be? I mean, when you look at this Big Ten, Indiana's surprisingly not good. No. Ohio State is what we kind of like the Illinois here. I mean, they've really underachieved based on their talent. Where should this team, or where could this team finish?
Yeah, I think it could be a middle-of-the-pack team. I think that at the beginning of the season, I said this team had the potential to be top 5 in the Big Ten. Now, looking at it, I think that we see maybe some flaws that we didn't necessarily recognize. Now that Tracy has come back to her, not that I had humongous expectations for him, probably bigger expectations for Mike Thorne to come back a little bit healthier, to be a starting center in the Big Ten. But you have some talent. You have some guys that can score, and you would think that being in a system for a certain amount of time with experience, they would be able to defend and, be tougher, more consistent. They haven't won back-to-back Big Ten games. So I think looking at the roster as a whole, there are definitely flaws to it, need more athleticism, need more length. But I think it could be middle of the pack.
Do you think John Gross has lost this team? Or did he already, was there a much earlier moment where he lost this team? Because obviously there's just a disconnect
big time
between what the coaches are trying to teach and what these players know about what the coaches want.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the one thing is maybe they're not lost when they're down 20 because then they decided they want to play and fight. Right. But they get down 20. That's the big problem. And when you talk about, even Gross talked about after the last game, his seniors not showing up against Penn State and not playing with energy and heart. And I think there is a disconnect between the player leadership. I don't think you have that true leader that you need. Because Tracy isn't good enough to be that leader. Malcolm, that's not his style.
No.
So I think that they are kind of lost. I think Malcolm feels like he's a good player on a bad team, and he realizes now that he's not going to get to where he wants to go. And this team just doesn't have it.
I saw on Twitter. I mean, people are tweeting like Malcolm Hill.
Yeah.
Blah blah. Like Malcolm Hill is not the problem.
No.
Just like Dimitri McKamey and Brandon Paul were not the problem, like Nana Egwu or even Nathan Shieldhouse was not the problem with this program. It's not his fault. He's by far the best player on this team.
Just like Ravonte Rice. I mean, the list goes on and on. The thing with Malcolm is he's not the most athletic guy. He's not maybe that emotional leader that you're looking for. And then you question, is he a winner? I don't know. That's tough because if you put better pieces around him, maybe he is. And maybe it's hard not to think maybe Carmelo Anthony-ish, not that level of talent, but he's a stats guy. The bottom line, Malcolm is a very, very good player. You put better pieces around him. He's definitely not your problem.
I mean, he besides Tijon, he's probably the best passer on this team.
Yeah.
He's one of the best rebounders on this team.
He can lead you in all those categories.
Probably the best defender on this team. Is that he's not the problem.
He's not. He's totally not. Derek Piper joining us in studio. Follow him on Twitter at DPiperScout. I want to bring up something that I know you guys are going to do a segment of what went wrong on IlliniInquirer.com.
Ding.
One of the ding as I cleared my throat. Let me. So here's a thought I had today. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, the point guard thing that we just rehashed at the start of the show is that you're in year 5, and really the only point guard really you have is Tijon Lucas, who might be the second best player on the team, really. But that said, so you understand where things went wrong during the John Gross era with regards to Juwan Evans and Quentin Snyder, who was tough on John. I mean, that was a tough one. And these other ones that I don't even want to care to throw out. And then I look at that's a guy, and we argued at the time, Jeremy, you want to go for the best because you want your program to be the best. I think at some point, though, you do have to realize what you can get, right? And maybe one of the biggest things too deep into it before he realized Illinois is not landing those guys right now, and that's an issue.
Derek, we always talk about landing guys, but a big part of recruiting is knowing who you can land.
Correct. And look at Wisconsin. They know they're the perfect example, right, of who they go after and who fits their system. And I felt like John just kind of shot for the stars, and unfortunately it didn't work.
Yeah, you had to understand that when you chase 2 McDonald's All-American point guards, there's that chance that you're not going to get them. So you should probably have that B option. I know that it's tough when you almost turn out to be in their top 2 for both of them. You don't get them, but it was really the Watsons, I think.
That was on a platter, right? Your Glenn B Watson option was on a platter for you.
And then Mo Watson, which is another one who turned out to be a fantastic point guard at Creighton, who, unfortunately for them, gets hurt. But you got a front row seat to him in the NIT, and then you recruit him, but maybe you don't push very hard enough because Brunson's still on the table, Juwan's still on the table. And, Glenn Watson was on a silver platter for you. So at the time, you had Jalen Tate and Tracy Abrams, guys that aren't supposed to be the option or the answer.
No.
And now they're still here. And like you said, with Tijon's your guy. We knew back in November, October that Tijon was better than Jalen Tate.
Yeah.
And it took so long just to trust him and let him play now. And even then, they've messed that up.
Yeah, that's
So the next coach, we can talk about the recruiting class and all of that, but this roster that is returning, Tijon Lucas, Jalen Coleman-Lands, Kipper Nichols, maybe DJ Williams and Aaron Jordan. No, we don't know about those guys. And LaRon Black and Michael Finke.
Mm-hmm.
What does the next coach have? Are those guys who can be much better under a new coach, or how much better does that roster have to get?
Great question.
You would hope so, because guys like LaRon and JCL specifically were top 50 guys coming out of high school, and they're talented guys. I know, obviously, Michael Finke can shoot the ball at a high level. Jalen Coleman-Lands can shoot the ball at a high level. LaRon can rebound at a really high level. So there's some certain things there. Tijon, really good facilitator. There's some pieces there. I think you need to establish an identity. You need a big guy, obviously, because you're losing. Mike Thorne hasn't given you anything, but Maverick Morgan.
Sure.
If you bring in Jeremiah Tillman, I think that's very, very important. If you don't get him, you're really going to struggle in the post, I think, next year. So Kipper Nichols, athletic, tough. There's some things to like about that team. Do they have maybe the star power, a guy that can stand out in the Big Ten? I haven't really seen that yet out of those guys, and I think you'd be disappointed in the way that some of these guys have played. But I think maybe a better system, better fit, new coach, I think there's a chance there with a lot of those guys.
So say there's a new coach, Tillman stays, they get Mark Smith, they add Trent Frazier, right? DeMonte Williams, with the injury you never know, and Javon Pickett comes.
Mm-hmm.
Can that be an NCAA tournament team, or what would the expectations of that team be?
I think it can be. I think the expectations would be a bubble team, and you'd be afraid that they're too young to be a consistent team. So I think talent-wise, there would be quite a few ups and downs there. I think maybe middle of the pack, maybe a little bit below. But you would still have the hope that just like when Gross came in year one, that he can make your group that was so bad the year before better with new energy, new system.
It's a great call.
New buy-in. So
and it worked.
I think that it is possible that group with the talent, Trent Frazier can really shoot the ball. Jeremiah Tillman, he's going to be a little bit inconsistent. He's a heck of a player. That group would have the potential to be an NCAA tournament team.
I think you look at guys like JCL and LaRon Black, and those are the two that kind of frustrate me a little bit in the sense that...
Oh, a lot of it.
Or a lot. Yeah, not a little bit. I'm sorry. A lot. And JCL, I expect more out of. But there's times where he's either standing, and I know this because he's on my fantasy team and I watch him a lot. He's either standing or he's never getting an open shot. Not much. Now, that might not be all his problem. That's a penetrate kick kind of problem. I think Tijon has helped that. But that's, to me, a coach's job is to figure out ways to get your guys open looks. Illinois always takes contested looks. Then you've got LaRon Black, who's only playing 14, 15 minutes a game. He looks completely lost. He's either
Especially
lost.
In defense.
Yeah. Oh, he's either lost or he's just so disinterested or disconnected, as you mentioned. Those are two guys that'll be interesting to see if a new coach comes in, what they can do with those two, because as you mentioned, those are top 50 recruits coming in. I think those two have potential to be really good players, and that's where you hope somebody can light that fire, or not just light the fire, but get this system in place that really brings out their strengths.
Like you said, put them in the best place to succeed, obviously. Yes. I think with JCL, like you said, and you see with other guys, they're just standing on the perimeter, a lot of two-man game or just isolation, especially when Malcolm has the ball. And obviously that's on the players too, because they should be moving. But when it continuously happens, it reflects back on the coach, putting them in the best situation. But JCL has shown ability to make plays off the dribble.
Yes,
obviously, we know that he can hit shots. You expect him to continue to become a better defender. LaRon, we know that he can hit that mid-range really, really easily from the free throw line. Can you design something to get him the ball in those situations? I think that is a question mark of this staff with a lot of guys, even Malcolm, putting these guys in the best situation for them where you know they can succeed, and that has been a struggle for them time in and time out.
Derek, next segment I want to talk about some guys.
What?
Some names. Let's focus on who the next guy will be. But that 2017 class is just sitting there. And it's a really awkward time. You wrote about that the other day at IlliniInquirer.com. And where does that stand? I mean, you had Jeremiah Tillman here along with Mark Smith the other day. DeMonte and I bet Javon and DeMonte seem like Illinois guys, but then Trent Frazier sitting there down in Florida really supporting the staff because they're the ones who found him and got him here. But it's just a really awkward time right now. So what will happen over the next couple months?
They've just got to sit and wait. Those guys specifically, especially Jeremiah and Trent. And Trent has let it be known that he's very loyal to his guy and John Gross and that staff who, as I've said before, when his home state program didn't pursue him like he felt like he should have been as a top 100 point guard, Illinois did a really good job to get down there, sell him on the program. He was sold on Illinois before he even stepped foot in Champaign.
Wow.
That's not to say that he doesn't still love Illinois and he can be sold on the program, the school, and everything about that given the right coach. But he's kind of sitting there in an awkward situation where he doesn't really know what he's going to do. And it is a risk when you think about if he did hit the open market, how many programs would be thinking, as Illinois has before, man, we could really use a point guard. Here's an opportunity. So, and then Jeremiah, I mean, he's a big-time player. 5-star, really, really loves Jamal Walker. Way more loyal to him. It's not even close than John Gross. If Jamal Walker's here, they aren't going to bat an eye. He's coming to Illinois. If Jamal Walker's not here, that changes a lot of things. I'm not saying that a new coach, right hire, can sit down in his living room and sell him on Illinois, but then you open that wild can of worms that we saw in November with how many programs and what that atmosphere was like.
Derek, Juan, and I, when we come back, I want you to come up with a candidate that if you had unlimited resources, you could get. Like, you know, obviously Bill Self's not going to come here, but if you had unlimited resources, who your first call would be to, and then 2, who do you think's the most realistic, best fit for Illinois.
It's going to be a juicy segment. You want to stick around. 359-2255. Derek Piper in studio with us for the rest of the hour. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company. And if you've thought about replacing those drafty windows and doors, call us right now. Take advantage of 30% off our windows and 30% off our doors. These are the vinyl windows that tilt in for cleaning and never need storm windows. Also, our beautiful Paragon doors come pre-painted and have deadbolt locks built right into them. So if you've thought about replacing your windows and doors, call us to take advantage of 30% off plus 0% financing.
Congratulations to Betsy Alfonso with the Urbana Police, our law enforcement official of the month. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
You've been with them, 6-7 years now?
Going into my 7th year.
And why? Why did Betsy Alfonso wake up and say, I want to be in law enforcement?
It was something I always thought was neat growing up, but I didn't expect I could do it. I'm 5'0", but I can run really fast. So I just got inspired and in college wanted to do more and took a lot of classes, and this is what I wanted to do.
Well, you protect, you serve, you do a great job by all accounts. Everybody says you're wonderful. You've worked a lot with helping youth, have you not?
Yes, I have.
Why youth?
They're the future. They're everything for our country, and they're such an important part, and a lot of kids don't get everything that they need, and it's nice to be able to support them.
Law Enforcement Official of the Month brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com.
As the leader in fire protection and security systems for industrial, commercial, and residential buildings, MatGo features exceptional protection. MatGo installs, maintains, and inspects fire sprinklers, alarms, CCTV, security systems, and access controlled systems. Their vigilance is a must-have priority to protect your assets. MatGo's digital monitoring and veteran personnel are your best security investment. Their 24-hour emergency service ensures that you are covered at all times. Contact MatGo at matgofire.com.
Vapors E-Cigs LLC thinks it's time that you take a permanent vacation from smoking tobacco. Take a permanent vacation away from cigarettes at Vapors E-Cigs LLC. You'll smell better, you'll breathe better, and you'll feel better. Come in today and taste the difference with a premium electronic vape. Get started for less than a carton of cigarettes at Vapor E-Cigs. Find them in Champaign across from Marketplace Mall, at 2 West Main Street in Danville, and on South Century Boulevard in Rantoul.
When you're heading home, Tay and Jay are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com in studio. Follow him on Twitter at DPiperScout. We're talking Illinois basketball. We kind of broke down what has gone wrong this season in the first segment with Derek. Now we're going to look to the future with this Illinois, assuming Josh Whitman makes a change and replaces John Gross with a new coach. I think we can assume no longer, right? This has to be done.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they don't, Derek, you can weigh in here.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd be frustrated.
If they finish, they're going to finish 12th or 13th in this league. How do you bring him back?
Not with your "We will win" slogan.
Right.
You're going to have a lot of fans looking like Charles Oakley at the State Farm Center if John
Right.
Gross is there next year. That's the problem. So, yeah, the vision, and like you've mentioned, all that good feeling that people have and trust in Josh Whitman, he's going to lose a good chunk of that if he keeps John Gross.
What? A guy you didn't hire.
I know.
Exactly. So it would make absolutely.
And it's amazing. This team isn't even sniffing the NCAA.
No,
like it's not a team that all of a sudden it's a bubble team that we're going to find out Sunday.
Even that one, like you can't just eke into tournaments anymore.
No, I agree.
This is year 5.
But I think with that, I think more people would be swayed with that and the recruiting class together.
Yes.
But
Yes.
right now, when you're not even going to finish, you might not even make the NIC, let alone go.
He simply had to make the tournament,
Yes.
which is a very low bar for here.
Amen.
Right? That's
Amen.
all he had to do, and
Amen.
he's not able to do it this year. All right, so we have a list up at IlliniInquirer.com. And, okay, boys, I give you $5 to $6 million a year, huge staffing pool. Lon, who would your first call be to?
Oh, man, this is tough. Is it the guy I want?
If you can have a dream candidate, Lon.
I want Monty Williams. That's the guy I want.
Wow.
That's the guy I want.
For your unlimited resource guy, you want Monty Williams?
I really do. I think I want him because of the big. I think I like the NBA. Okay. The fact that he's been in the NBA. I like the African American side of it because I want to see if that kind of a coach can recruit Chicago better than what we've had.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he's connected. You know, he's coached a little bit under Coach K. I just think he's the guy that I would really like. Now, unlimited. Now, I think you can get Monty without being the unlimited resource kind of guy.
That's why I thought you'd save him for your realistic guy.
Oh, that would be realistic, I guess.
I think Monty Williams is very realistic.
Go to Derek then, and I'll think of my unlimited.
That was a heck of an endorsement, though, by the way, from Lon on Monty Williams. Anybody listening out there? I think some of the obvious answers may be Tony Bennett. Yeah. I think Billy Donovan is another one. But I'm going to go a little...
by the way, can we end Billy Donovan?
Yeah, he's got one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, he's got a top 5 player in the world.
Even $6 million's not going to get him here.
Well, he makes $6 million at Oklahoma City. And guys, NBA jobs to most people are way better than college jobs.
Amen.
Right? Especially one that has some challenges like Illinois.
Yep.
So I'm going to go maybe a step below where people might think I would go and a step above maybe Lon in terms of attainability, and I'll say Archie Miller.
Okay.
I just like Archie that much. Obviously took Dayton to the Elite Eight. He reminds me a little bit of, Bill Self when he was coming out of Tulane, although he's maybe even accomplished a little bit more there at Dayton. He's got connections to Chicago, although that is definitely a challenge to recruit there. I just think he's a rising star in the industry, and he's definitely one of my favorites.
I mean, usually a Dayton guy would be real in the wheelhouse.
Exactly.
But from what we've heard, Archie has no interest in Illinois.
Okay.
He's going to sit there and wait for that perfect job, and I wonder what that's going to be because Florida wasn't it, Illinois isn't it. Would Ohio State be able to get him?
Indiana.
If Indiana opened
That's going to be an issue, isn't it?
That would be really interesting. My guy, I mean, we could throw Tony Bennett in here. I think he obviously would be one of my first calls. Buzz Williams.
Okay, you like him.
What he's doing at Virginia Tech is ridiculous.
Yeah, you like him.
I mean, he did it at Marquette. They had identity. He recruited Chicago, but he'd be very expensive. He's got a big buyout, and he makes really good money. $2.6 million this year. 3.3 is what it's going to top out on his contract now, and he's got a buyout of 1.5. So I think Buzz would listen. I don't know if he'd take it, given where Virginia Tech is right now.
You've always liked Buzz Williams, and I like the fact that he's got energy behind him.
Really likable guy.
Yep. And the reason I kind of defaulted to Monty is the guy I would love to have is Brad Stevens in a heartbeat. But I know, like you just said, he's not coming. It's like Billy Donovan. He's got, not only is he going to have the number one pick probably because the Nets, right, are going to finish last and the Celtics are going to have the number one pick. I mean, eventually LeBron has to retire, right? I think Brad is in such a great shape there with Boston that he's going to win NBA titles.
He doesn't have to recruit.
And he doesn't have to recruit.
Late submission, Michael Jordan. Owns Chicago.
There you go.
How cool would that be?
Is he a billionaire? He's he's 100 millionaire.
He knows where campus is. His kid played
That's
here.
True.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I like it, Piper. What would you have to pay him? $30 million a year?
He'd probably be like, just pay me $5. I mean,
who would be Michael Jordan's staff?
Oh boy,
B.J. Armstrong.
Yes,
and his NBA agent.
Probably not Scottie Pippen.
No.
Not Pip.
No.
Was
Oakley? Oakley's his boy.
Oh gee. Well, we'd have toughness.
That's right.
If we're looking for toughness, we'd have toughness, and I mean by the way he played.
All right. Well, Lon, you kind of gave your guy Monty Williams is kind of in the wheelhouse. Do you want to give another guy?
Yeah, I mean the other guy I think that's very realistic would be Zoe, as Piper says it. So I want to be young like him. Quanzo Martin.
And Derek, is that your guy?
That's my guy.
Okay, tell us why.
Well, he just makes so much sense.
He does.
In terms of his Midwest ties, being from East St. Louis, he played at Purdue. I think that he has the ability with that St. Louis Metro East area having so much talent to come in there, do some big things, and then also to go up in Chicago and really be a name that resonates. He took Mr. Basketball from Illinois last year, Charlie Moore, and got him to go out to Cal. And that Morgan Park program continues to produce high level talent.
Ayo
Dosunmu there. Can you imagine Charlie Moore and Ayo Dosunmu in the same backcourt? Sit for a second. Okay. And just the way that his program has progressed from year 1 to year 3 at Cal. They're an NCAA tournament team this year. He's gotten some 5-star talents before, and Jaylen Brown took him from Georgia, Ivan Rabb, and they're a really good defensive team this year. So I think there's a lot to like. That would be great, right? There's lots to like about Zoe.
I agree.
And that would be my guy.
Does it seem to you guys like there are certain people that just don't like the idea of Quanzo Martin? And I don't understand it because there is no candidate that is perfect. Like, Illinois is probably not going to land a candidate who's a perfect candidate for the time.
Right.
But there are people who think, oh, he's not going to work. Like, they definitely know he's not going to work. When I sit there and go, recruiting, he's from around here, he's from the state, played at Purdue, has had success as a head coach. It's just he hasn't stayed long enough.
That's your answer.
But
That's your
I don't
answer.
think he wants to leap. Like, he left Tennessee because his wife wanted to get out of Tennessee, and they went to Cal.
Yep.
And he's not a West Coast guy, so now he's looking to get back to the Midwest, and I think he'll take either the Illinois or the Mizzou job.
Well, and I think that your answer is not the fact that people are worried that he would come here and leave after 3 years or 4. I think they have never really seen the stabilization of what he can do with the program.
Which could help him out there in the market or it could hurt him.
That's correct.
Right? Because we haven't seen it, so people are like, well, we don't know what his program will look like, but also maybe we don't see that it could be a bad program.
That's right. So it's kind of like he's gotten better, Derek, at every stop. He just hasn't been there long enough to really when you think, oh, well, yeah, Cal's got Quanzo Martin. He's been there for 8 years, and they've made this many tournaments.
Right, and I think that is definitely one of the hang-ups. And then some people question his X's and O's ability, which I don't know how fair that is. He's probably a little bit better than a lot of people give him credit for.
I agree, probably.
And then last year, you could say underachieved with Jalen Brown and Ivan Rabb being 5-star guys. Also had Jordan Matthews, who's been a good player at Gonzaga this past year. So had talent last year. It didn't go right for them losing to Hawaii in the first round, but obviously that happens. I mean, we're not talking about Coach K being a bad coach and they lose to Lehigh or whoever it is on a given year.
Right.
I think Quanzo and Monty make a lot of sense.
I do too.
I think they're the most likely. I also think if Hoiberg divorced from the Bulls in mid-March, which I think is unlikely.
I was going to say, what are the chances of that, honestly?
I think Hoiberg would have interest.
Okay.
I don't know. Is he a great fit here, though?
I don't know.
Because I know he's a big name, had great success at Iowa State, but Derek, if he's going to recruit Chicago, he's a failure up there.
Yeah.
Like people think of him as a failure, like a joke of a coach up there.
All right, that's your wheelhouse right there. Obviously, St. Louis has been good talent-wise, but Chicago, you don't want the guy who failed in Chicago and everybody knows it to go up there and try to sell your program. There's been talk about Hoiberg. How much did he really like recruiting at Iowa State? You got a lot of JUCO guys over there, so I think maybe there's some concerns there. But I think the big one is Chicago. You're going up there. Yeah. You're going to abandon their beloved Bulls and obviously be a disaster in terms of – and that's on the front office in terms of team assembly, but also people are going to look at it. Players are going to look at it. Well, you had D. Wade and Jimmy Butler, and then you ditched the team because you suck.
Yeah. So, and I don't see Gar Forman firing him, by the way, because that's Gar's guy. I think Hoiberg will be the Bulls coach next year. The other guys I would say, Scott Drew and Bryce Drew.
Okay.
That Baylor athletic department's a mess.
Yes, they are.
Scott Drew's had a lot of success. He also has a reputation, though he's never been charged.
I don't see him being
as
the
a
guy
cheater.
Josh. Right.
He's never been charged.
Right.
But he was voted the second biggest cheater in a CBS poll back in 2012.
Cheating happens in recruiting?
Huh?
What?
Cheating happens in recruiting?
Yeah. So I don't see Whitman going there, but I know Bryce Drew just went to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
I think he'd have interest.
Okay.
And I think he's a young, up-and-coming coach. I don't know if you'd have him above Quanzo or Monty, but I think he's a good young coach, and obviously Roger Powell on that staff.
Oh.
I think Bryce Drew's going to be really good.
That'd be interesting.
Eventually.
The close for me this hour is when you think about what Josh did with Lovie Smith. Yes, that was a splash hire, but it made a little sense because Lovie Smith is known best for his work as the Chicago Bears, right? So he's known in the state of Illinois as well as he's known anywhere. Yes, they know him in Florida. Yes, they know him, of course, where he's from. But it makes sense when you put that together. That's why a guy like Quanzo Martin, to me, makes the most sense. He's a Midwest guy.
Big Ten guy.
And he's a Big Ten guy. I think if that hire is made, to me, that's Josh Whitman saying, not only are we bringing in a guy that we think can win, obviously, but it makes sense.
And Derek, it always feels like the most guy who makes the most sense never
doesn't happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And don't discount anybody that we haven't, there's probably somebody out there that we haven't even mentioned that could be on Josh Whitman's mind.
That's so true.
That's him.
He's not sharing that list.
He's a smart dude.
He's not returning my calls or my texts.
What?
He's not?
Yeah, he hasn't even given out his
you know
numbers.
what? He just called, but I told him we couldn't take the call, so we were busy.
He's going to say, guys, this is actually my top 5.
Lon, who are you throwing out there? That's crazy.
Well,
That's
he heard your Monty Williams endorsement,
Right.
and he's like, I need to talk to this guy.
People are like, who's Monty Williams? Boy, I think
Probably.
I think he would be.
He's a Notre Dame All-American.
Yeah. I think he could do some wonders here. Derek Piper, thanks, buddy.
It was fun. Great being back in this area.
I wish we were here talking about what seed Illinois could be in the NCAA tournament, how this recruiting class is going to mesh with Mark Smith coming in.
Someday, boys.
Someday.
That would just be too predictable.
It would be way too predictable. I do appreciate it. That's Derek Piper. Follow him on Twitter at DPiperScout. Next hour, we're going to start out with some golf. Lance Ringler, golfweek.com. And next hour, Sean Harrington talking more Illinois basketball. It is the Tay and J Show.
When your car breaks down, you realize just how much you need it. And when it breaks down, Beaumont Alignment Plus steps up. For routine maintenance like brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, batteries, and tires, you can count on Beaumont Alignment Plus. Bigger issues including alignment, suspension work, starters, alternators, transmission requires specialists. So get to know Beaumont Alignment Plus for your vehicle repairs. With locations on Bloomington Road and Denison Drive in Champaign, you're never far from the help you need. It's good to know the quality service is still affordable at Beaumont Alignment Plus.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady, after his first meeting with Canada's Prime Minister.
We should coordinate closely, and we will coordinate closely.
President Trump emphasizing jobs and security, though also suggesting tweaking on trade and again defending his executive order on immigration.
We're going to give ourselves every bit of chance so that things go well for the United States, and they will go well.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau praising his own country's acceptance of refugees, but he stopped short of criticizing the president's travel ban.
The last thing Canadians expect is for me to come down and lecture another country on how they choose to govern themselves.
The president ignoring shouted questions at the end of that joint news conference about National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. A senior West Wing source tells Fox News Flynn has apologized to Vice President Pence for initially saying he did not discuss sanctions with the Russian ambassador before the inauguration and later saying he might have. The White House says Flynn still has the president's confidence. Democrats want Flynn to resign. Democrats not giving up the fight on Trump cabinet picks, even if they don't have the votes to stop them. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern live on the Hill.
Hours before a vote on President Trump's choice to lead the Treasury Department, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer argues the president is selecting the most anti-working class cabinet ever.
Washington insiders, corporate types who have spent their whole careers sticking it to the working man.
Still, former Wall Street executive Steve Mnuchin is expected to win confirmation as Treasury Secretary. Far less controversial, the president's choice to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. David Shulkin is a holdover from the Obama administration and a former hospital CEO. Lisa.
Meantime, Jared, another record high for the Dow, up 142. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
So far, so good in Northern California, where they're lowering a lake that overflowed a dam over the weekend before more rain arrives.
We're moving 100,000 cubic feet per second down that spillway.
Bill Croyle is acting director of California Water Resources.
We bumped the flow up when this situation occurred to mitigate the impact of that erosion that was occurring. That solution worked, to reduce the threat.
But the evacuation orders for nearly 200,000 residents remain in place for now until officials can ensure it's safe for them to go home. The Oroville Dam is the tallest in the U.S., 770 feet. Recent heavy rains causing the overflow, which led to erosion and left a section in danger of collapse. One American Indian activist says he is not deterred by a judge's ruling today that the developer of the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline can keep drilling under a Missouri River reservoir in North Dakota. After winning approval last week to complete the project, opponents say they'll keep fighting in court. In the court fight over the president's travel ban, the Justice Department is urging the judge who blocked it to wait for an appeals court's next step on that restraining order before moving ahead with the larger case on the merits of the executive order. President Trump vowing to deal very strongly with North Korea after their latest test of a ballistic missile designed to launch from a submarine, though the test on Saturday was on land.
This type of missile was last tested by North Korea back in April. It has a range of 1,600 miles, but fell well short of a previous missile launch, which flew over Japan. This weekend's missile test coincided, of course, with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's visit with President Trump in Florida.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. They already hold the record for most consecutive wins in women's college basketball. Tonight, the UConn Huskies go for number 100. They're facing South Carolina. The win streak started more than 2 years ago. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
100 straight wins.
I'm trying to think if I've done 100 things in a row in my life.
Not to success. I mean, not. I don't think I've. I mean,
successfully.
I've gotten up 100 straight days.
Okay,
and that has been successful.
That is as successful as you can be.
There were some days, though, it was a battle. Not going to lie to you.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS, or you can visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 32. Tomorrow, warmer, mostly sunny, high 51, low of 26. Cools down Wednesday to a high of 37, low of 26. But this weekend, we're going to get to 60s, guys.
Wow.
Right now, partly cloudy, 45 in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Warner. We've had a couple of people tweet in about said Alonzo. Hey, Alonzo Mourning.
Ooh, that's an outside the box guy.
It would be. Quanzo Martin, and they're saying...
Terrence Howard.
Yeah, well, no. They're saying, hey, Quanzo Martin didn't choose to come play basketball in Illinois, so why do we want him as our coach?
NCAA sanctions had something to do with that.
I think he was worried about if Illinois would be able to play.
They were awaiting word on that at the time.
Yes.
And, hey, maybe Purdue just won it. I don't know. But it was a hard situation to recruit to for Illinois.
Right. And I get it. I mean, I get it with everybody, and I totally understand that. And I'm one of you that's old enough to know that. I think that was the tweet. So, yes, I remember those times. And I'm sure at the time I was upset that Quanzo Martin didn't come play ball here. But I think there were other factors as to why he did not.
Did he make the right decision?
Yeah, right.
I mean, they had a lot of success.
They did. They had a lot of success at Purdue.
All right, it's time to get to the Jupiter's the Crossing phone line. Don't forget, Monday is family night at Jupiter's the Crossing. Families who dine in get one large one-topping pizza, soft drinks, breadsticks, and 25 game tokens for just $25.
I just wanted to mix it up today and talk a little golf. And we're bringing in Lance Ringler, golfweek.com. How you doing, Lance?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Man, you got some issues over in Indiana as well, man. It's not just John Gross in Illinois, is it?
Well, no, but I thought if you want to talk about Illinois and Indiana basketball, I don't know how much we can really say that would be positive right now.
Right. Let's just move to the next segment. Next conversation on that one. All right, golf. I wanted to bring this up because Jordan Spieth gets it done yesterday, winning that tournament. And here we go. We're off and running with the PGA season. What are you expecting this year? I mean, Jordan Spieth is a guy, like Jeremy said, he is such a talent and a guy that could absolutely one day we could look back on and say he was one of the greats. Is this kind of his year, you think?
Well, I mean, we kind of look back right now and look at 2015 and talk about, I mean, arguably he had one of the greatest seasons in the history of the PGA Tour, with what he did that year. So we're only 1 year removed from that. So, you know, expectations are extremely high for Jordan. And with him, the way he played this week, you know, the funny thing about golf, I was thinking about this today, is that when a guy wins on a Sunday, especially on an iconic venue like Pebble Beach, people get so fired up and they start talking about how he's never going to lose again and whatnot, and then the next week the guy goes out and misses the cut.
Right.
So it's a funny thing with golf, But Jordan has displayed that he has the talent to be the best. He's already been world number one before, and it's just an exciting year with him playing good. There's so many guys, young guys, that are playing so well that we can expect an very exciting year. And then the wild card is always Tiger. We just don't know what's going to happen with Tiger. I mean, hopefully he can get his back healthy and he can get himself on a stage where he can compete a little bit with these guys, because that would really make golf fun this year.
It really would. And, you look at some of these, and you mentioned it, the young guys. You still have Rory, although he's probably mid-age now, I guess, with regards to these young guys.
24.
Right, exactly. He's a mid-age guy. But you've got your Rorys and your Jordan Spieths and your Days and your Dustin Johnson. And are there just so many good golfers that not one guy is going to Jack Nicklaus the field or Tiger Woods the field with regards to absolutely just dominating majors over a 5 to 6 year period? Do we just have so many good golfers that you don't see that happening?
That's exactly right, Lon. I mean, the depth of professional golf and what all these kids, that's come out of college recently. It's a different mindset. It's a different type of athlete now that plays golf. It's not guys wearing corduroy pants with big bellies anymore. I mean, it's kids that could be linebackers and baseball players and basketball players, and those kids have no fear, and they get right out on the tour, and they're winning. And there's a lot of them. Not to take anything away from Jack Nicklaus or even Tiger and Tom Watson, all the guys back then. There just wasn't the depth that we see now. And there's another one coming, John Rahm. I expect John Rahm to be in contention to majors this year. He just won a couple weeks ago, the Arizona State kid. Phenomenal talent, phenomenal, and he's just another one of the many. And Justin Thomas has already broken through and won twice this year. So it's going to be a fun year. That's for sure.
Yeah, Jordan Spieth wins Pebble Beach and moves up to 6th in the world. That's pretty amazing.
And, the other guy too, Henrik Stenson, a European player who I think he has 9 consecutive top 10 finishes.
Wow.
And, when he comes over here, he's going to be good. Hideki is playing phenomenal golf. I mean, I think he's won 4 or 5 of his last 7 worldwide starts. So you're talking about, not even the household names in America that are going to be really hard to beat this year. It's going to be really hard to win majors. There's so many good players.
No doubt.
Lance Ringer, golfweek.com. It's just like the NBA. We talk about guys and their rings, or quarterbacks in the NFL and how many rings they got, so we can stack them up. So I gotta throw this question out there. Next 5 years, majors, who wins the most?
Ooh.
Would it be McIlroy, Spieth, Day, Dustin Johnson? Who you got?
Oh, my goodness. That is such a hard question. I could throw you a curve and say I think Sergio's ready to start winning.
Oh, that'd be awesome to see win one.
Well. How about that? But, the thing about Sergio, he's had the most talent of any player not to win a major, probably, if you were to ask all the experts. But, wow, that's such a good question. I still, when they're on their game, we haven't seen the A+ game out of Rory lately. But he's really hard to beat. And Dustin Johnson hits it so far that those two guys, if they're on their game, even though Jordan is phenomenal, Jordan's maybe the best mid-range putter we've ever seen. I still think when Dustin and Rory are on, those two are just so darn intimidating because of their power.
Tiger Woods, another setback with this back. I mean, he's had so many surgeries. How long do you think he's going to hold on and continue to try to play?
Good call.
Man, it's such a hard answer. I mean, he was wired so differently because he was the ultimate competitor in golf. I mean, this guy won 25 to 30% of his starts for a certain stretch. I mean, that's incredible to think about that. He almost won golf tournaments at a better rate than Shaquille O'Neal was making free throws. If you want to think about something crazy, and I think at one point in time that was true. But I tell you, I just don't know if his mind can handle failure, and he just might, if it's because of his back or if it's just his game in general, he might just shut it down. But I certainly hope not. I mean, I hope he can. I think he needs repetitions. He needs to play. He needs to make a cut. He needs to get the fever back a little bit of being in the hunt, and I think that may be enough to buy him a couple more years. I don't know. Maybe his back's really, really hurt. That's no one really knows. Everybody's tolerance for pain is different, so we don't really know what he's going through.
That'd be awesome to have him back.
I mean, obviously, we've seen guys be great athletes. Gary Player always worked out, right? To keep himself in shape for golf. He's kind of ahead of the curve. Tiger took it to another level where you're talking about. He looks like a middle linebacker. What's the discussions in the golf world, Lance, about how you should train, how you should strength train for golf? Because he was built, like a defensive back in football.
Well, that's the thing. That's an ongoing discussion right now. There's a lot of instructors saying that Tiger's too big.
Right.
He got too bulky. He got too big. And, every guy on tour, not every guy, but a large percentage of the guys on tour now take their physical training very seriously and spend a lot of time in the gym. And there's a lot of people coming out that saying, you don't want to get too big. You don't want to lift that much. And there's been some criticism of Rory McIlroy. There's obviously been some criticism of Tiger Woods. So these are guys, it's a tough situation. It's a balance there, and maybe some guys are taking it too far, and that's yet to be seen. But that's just where golf has turned to as far as a sport.
Lance Ringler, golfweek.com. You need to follow him. Lance, what's your Twitter again? I forgot. I apologize.
It's at Golf Week Ringler.
That's it. That was my fault.
Yep.
Definitely follow Lance if you're into golf. He does a great job, especially covering college golf, which we're going to ask you a couple of questions about that at the end. But while we're talking about old people like Tiger Woods, how about Phil Mickelson? What is his legacy when it's said and done? How many more years can we expect Phil to kind of battle against these youngsters? And what would his legacy be going forward?
Well, Phil's just the longevity of his career, and he's still relevant. Somebody asked me that the other day, and he's still very relevant. I mean, his game's getting back in shape. It's been a while since he's won, but it wouldn't surprise anyone if he wins in any given week, and especially going into Augusta again. But Phil, I think the career he had as an amateur, winning 3 NCAA championships, and then going out on tour and winning. I mean, who knows how many more he would have won, or how long he might have been ranked number one if Tiger never was around. So I think his legacy is going to be just that: the longevity of his career, the number of wins, and being the backseat guy to Tiger during his prime.
When does our boy Thomas Pieters make the trip over to the PGA Tour?
Yeah, I don't know. Thomas has got a boatload of talent, and he showed it last year at the Ryder Cup, what he can really do. I don't know. I could see Thomas, kind of playing over there for a while, and he's still young, and he's still, he's got the good thing about him is he went to college. He went to college over here, so he's used to the way of life in the United States. And I think when he does make that jump, he'll do well. He's obviously going to get some starts here this year. But it'll be exciting. He's another one of those young guns that once he gets the reps and gets comfortable. The hardest thing about playing professional golf, and it's gotten better over the years, is just getting used to the lifestyle. Yeah. Being on the road, in the hotels, learning. I mean, it sounds weird, but learning how to get your laundry done, learning how to eat, learning how to get your rest. It's a tough deal. And, Thomas is doing it on, worldwide. The guys that play Europe are a little bit better at it, and then when they come over here, once they get settled in, they usually can do well if they have talent.
Yeah, and he got the invite, Jeremy, of course, to the Masters. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And what he did, Jeremy, to your point, what he did in the Ryder Cup.
Ridiculous.
I mean, it was unbelievable. Awesome. That just showed his mettle, basically.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Lance, Illinois ranked number 2 right now, just based on the numbers and stroke play, right behind Vanderbilt. What do you make of this team? Because even Lon, we were talking after last year, we were like, oh, that was a veteran-laden roster. Yeah. We're kind of like, oh, it's going to be a rebuilding year. I don't know about that. This is a pretty talented roster.
No, I mean, I'm done saying rebuilding when it comes to Mike Small. No, I just say reload. I just laugh at him. Honestly, I mean, we've talked about this was their year to win the championship so many years before, and they didn't quite get it done. So they're going to win it in one of these years when we don't expect it to, I guess.
Correct.
So maybe it's this year. He's just a tremendous coach. He's got great players. The Dylan Meyer kid is just as feisty and fiery as you're going to come across. Once those freshmen, keep getting in the mix, they're just going to be a hard out like they always are. I mean, maybe this is the year that they kind of sneak in under the radar rather than having the bullseye on the back.
It should be fun.
And a little home state cooking, maybe.
That's right. That is.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, a little.
Hey, you guys need to come up.
You know what? We talked about it last year about coming up and doing our show from there and having you, if you're going to be there, have you come on with us. That would be fun, Lance.
Absolutely.
Let's plan on it. Let's
do it. At least come up sometime during the week and do the show for sure. The tournament lasts like 7 days, so there's probably a day in there. We can
pick an odd day. We'll find an odd day. Lance Ringler, golfweek.com. Follow him on Twitter at golfweekringler. Always appreciate the time, Lance.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeremy. Have a good day.
All right, buddy. Well done. We always appreciate that. I love talking golf, getting ready for a season.
Hey, no matter what happens during basketball season, golf season right around the corner.
Illinois golf.
I mean, we always got that to look forward to.
Thank you, Mike Small.
And even tennis, they're competitive. Softball starts off great this weekend.
4-1 in their tournament in Puerto Rico.
Baseball's young and talented.
Dan Hartleb's going to join us tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got
spring football.
Just hang on, everybody. Just hang on through this tough ride.
Recruiting in July.
Oh, man.
Lovey Smith on the trail.
It's not easy, is it? It's not easy right now for Illinois fans trying to fight through this.
Hey, coming up next, we have our DP office hookup. Your chance to win free lunch for your office of up to 25 people. It's easy. We just got to text in. We got a question for you, but that's coming up next.
Okay.
Also going to go next question. We'll talk a little bit about Tom Crean, the Ohio State job. Could that open up? A little Northwestern, a little baseball.
And a haircut.
A little Grammys, a haircut. Yeah, we got a lot of things to cover.
We got it all to do. You can weigh in 359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
The UConn women trying to become the fourth team in NCAA history, regardless of sport, regardless of gender, to win 100 consecutive games. What people may forget, and look, maybe a lot of people aren't paying attention at all, they had the numbers 1, 2, and 3 picks in last year's WNBA draft.
It's been a complete, retilling of that team, and here they go.
So they had the 3 best players in the country last year graduated and went to the WNBA, and they still haven't lost a game. What they have going on now is a form of domination, of dominance.
It is.
That we've never seen. You and I have never seen. You rattled it off. It's a bunch of tennis and things. I'm not diminishing
tennis.
I obviously love tennis.
Yeah.
But as far as these sports that we follow on a regular basis here, no one has ever done what this group is currently doing.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio. As an entrepreneur, you're always on the go. So turn your mobile phone into a business phone system with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Make and receive business calls using our iPhone and Android apps. Get a new business number or keep your current one. Forward your calls to any phone and even get your voicemails transcribed. Join over 250,000 small businesses who stay connected with Grasshopper. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system.
When it comes to Valentine's gifts, bigger doesn't always mean better. Come on, who really wishes for a giant stuffed teddy bear or a room full of heart-shaped balloons? Hellsberg Diamonds knows what it takes to make you the hero of her heart. We have beautiful gifts that are just the right size, at just the right price, starting at only $49.99. Hellsberg Diamonds, here's to love.
Do you live in Urbana? Visit the Sprint store on the corner of Philo and Florida for your new device, and we'll transfer all of your precious photos, contacts, and other important data from your old one. Also, come see us in North Champaign at Center Court and Marketplace Mall. Let us set up your new phone or tablet while you take the kids to the play area or while you get your shopping done. If you're on North Prospect, visit the only Sprint mobile device service center in town, located next to Starbucks. Let us help find your perfect new phone or fix your old one. Sprint by Wireless Revolution. Local, convenient, and serving our community since 2011.
Hey, it's me, your finest. What, you don't know what I sound like? Well, it ain't pretty. So get a precision tune-up from the experts to save up to 30% on energy bills and keep me quietly heating all season long. Though I do have a beautiful singing voice. Oh, Danny boy.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, get $41 off a precision tune-up. For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner. It's Monday, February 13th. Had Lucas Tay's 17th birthday
Happy
Saturday.
birthday, Lucas Tay.
Did you see the picture on Facebook?
Which one?
It's him and I standing next to each other. Okay.
You look really good, by the way.
Well,
not going to lie. You are a very attractive man in that picture. I go, Lon is tan?
Well, I know.
He looks like he's been working out.
I know.
Or he took a very good angle of himself.
I think maybe it was the angle. It may have been the angle. I think the heat from the grill got me even more tan than I am. And I am doing the fake tan a little bit because I'm getting ready to go on vacation.
Hey, good for you.
Why not, right? But I think the angle allowed Lucas to be a little bit taller than what he actually is.
He looked like he was 3 inches taller.
Oh, my goodness.
I hope my kid is 3 inches taller than me.
It's funny because everybody gives me hell about it, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I hope he's 6'8".
My brother's
well, not 6'8".
My brother's 6'5". My dad's like 5'10", 5'11". My mother's like 5'2", 5'3". So I'm normal.
Right.
My Brad's a freak. My dad always goes, give him the best I got. Then me.
Yeah.
Then there's me.
Hey, Jeremy, I didn't know we were going to have 2 kids. Right? I had everything I can.
All right, it is time for our DP Dough office hookup throughout this month. Just a couple more times. I think this is the third to last time we'll be doing this.
Okay.
DP Dough hooking up your office with a catered lunch of calzones, salad, and fresh baked cookies for up to 25 people. Doesn't sound bad. Free. No. It's this easy. Text us at 359-2255 with the name of your office, how many people you work with, and today, let us know, along with your number and the office.
This is interesting.
Is your favorite daytime talk show host, because today is Jerry Springer's birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to get your answer after the update.
Oh my
goodness. Of who your favorite daytime talk show host is. But if you want to,
Nikki Ray or
if you want to get this free lunch from DP Dough up to 25 people can get free calzone, salad, fresh baked cookies. Went to the DMV the other day. They won it.
That's right.
They were like, "Oh, Jeremy, thank you for the calzones. It was delicious."
And you jumped ahead of like 50 people in line.
Dang right I did. No, I went through pretty easily that day.
Did. You said you did.
We'll select one winner each week. Just text us at 359-2255 with your office, how many people you work with, and your favorite daytime talk show host.
And there's 100 people out there going, well, we don't watch daytime because we're working, so we're going to put down somebody we know.
You have at some point.
I have at some point. Do you mean, in other words, it doesn't have to be somebody now?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I got an answer for that.
Jenny Jones into this? Come on.
Update now.
4:30 from the Sports Center Update Studio. I'm James Woodard with your Sports Center Update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care. That's Prairie View Landscaping at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Illinois dropped their 12th game of the year. This time it was against Penn State. 80-73 is your final. Nittany Lions went into halftime with a 12-point lead. Illinois made a furious comeback in the second half, cutting the lead down to 5 right before they let the game slip away. Malcolm Hill led the Illini with 14. T-John Lucas, 11.7 assists in his 33 minutes. Next game is against Iowa this coming Saturday. The Bulls are now 3 games under 500 after they lose to Tom Thibodeau and the Timberwolves. That's a 117-89 final. Coach Tibbs has won both outings against the Bulls this season. Butler, Mirotic, Wade all out with injury. Jordan Spieth won his 9th PGA Tour event, taking first in the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He shot 19 under, taking home $1.3 million. Cubs, Cardinals getting things underway with spring training. Cardinals pitchers and catchers reporting today. Cubs report tomorrow. Former Cubs reliever Travis Wood is expected to sign a 2-year deal with the Kansas City Royals, and he may compete in the rotation. That's according to ESPN.com's Jerry Krasnick. And one of Jerry Sandusky's sons is facing multiple charges of sexual offenses involving children. Court records filed Monday say 41-year-old Jeffrey Sandusky has been charged with 14 counts, including statutory sexual assault, 6 counts of unlawful contact with a minor, 2 counts of sexual abuse of children, among others. I'm James Woodard with your Sports Center update.
Reapers. Thank you, James. It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. You can weigh in 359-2255.
Got a lot of Ellen?
Yeah.
Somebody said Steve Wilkos. I guess people do watch Steve Wilkos.
I think they do.
Yeah.
He was the old security guy or bodyguard, bouncer for Jerry Springer. Is Springer still on?
I think so.
I think he is.
Oprah?
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres? Anyone remember Rosie? The Rosie O'Donnell show?
Oh, my goodness.
She would like fling those things out, the rubber band things out to the crowd. That was on when I was in grade school, so I'd come home to that.
Yeah. Phil Donahue was on when I was back in the day. He had the old, the hair. The
white hair.
Yeah. I think Ellen would be my favorite.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
she's had 2 runs as a daytime talk show host, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think she was Rosie before Rosie, and then she came back with another show.
I think she's funny. I think she's hilarious. I think she asks good questions. And what I don't watch her show, but I've seen clips. Like I've seen Matt Damon was on one time.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. She had Timberlake on.
What if Damon and Mark Wahlberg were on the same show?
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine if I was like the 3rd guest? And now we're going to welcome out from Champaign. He does a talk radio show, Lance.
Talking about Illinois sports.
So I come running out, and there's Matt Damon and Mark.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Matt. Hey, man, your birthday's right next to mine.
Jenny Jones, I watched a lot. She had the Black Eyed Peas on before the Black Eyed Peas added Fergie. Like, they were like the in-house band for a little bit.
She was ahead of her time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she knew that. She was hip with the kids.
Sweet. How about, was there a Ricky something or a
Ricky Lake?
Ricky Lake.
All of these were out of Chicago, too.
Are they really?
Springer's out of Chicago. Ricky Lake was out of Chicago.
Wow.
Jenny Jones was out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Oprah was out of Chicago.
No doubt. She just joined 60 Minutes.
Yeah,
she's going to do some reporting for 60 Minutes.
Which is, I think, the best show on television.
I like 60 Minutes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I like it. It took them 30 years, but they finally got smart enough to start it at 6:30.
Yeah.
Because how many times I would DVR it at 6.
Right, you only get the first story.
Right in the middle of one of the better stories because the football game ran long, and then I was like, oh, come on. Yeah. So they finally have figured this out to do it at 6:30 so we don't miss these things.
I remember Maury Povich before Maury only did paternity tests.
Is that all he does?
Yeah, that's all he does anymore.
I think that's true.
But I always loved the topics they would come up with.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
The most random topics in the world. And during the shows he'd be like, do you have an uncle that is obsessed with
bubble gum?
Yeah.
With blowing bubbles.
Please contact us at this.
And there were always enough people to come and do it.
I think it's people just faked it just to get on TV.
I did too. So many times I'd sit there and go, is this real?
Is this real life?
Is this real life? And then you go out sometimes and you see people and talk to people and you're like, yeah,
oh, okay.
It's real life.
Yep. All right.
Because people probably say that about me.
All right, Lon, it is time for next question.
It is.
Give me up with some F-ball.
You want a little F?
And we're going to hear from Tom Crean coming up. I got a bunch of questions to ask you.
Ooh.
Is John Gross on the line?
Well, I don't know.
Are we going to keep this even if he gets fired? We can do something to remember him fondly for.
See.
Next question.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get a next question by the end of the year?
Ooh, that's a good call.
Or another goodness gracious?
Do you think he knows that he's part of one of our bigger segments? Next question.
I can tell him.
Yeah, we're keeping that next question thing. I like that.
By the way, I'm going to have something to play over here, Lon, so make sure that program is on the left computer
you're
there.
Good to go.
Tom Crean, is he on his last legs in Indiana? This is what he said last night on the post-game radio show.
Okay.
I've never coached a team with this lack of maturity when it comes to being able to respond and rebound from when things aren't going well for them personally. And that includes my teams that I had that won 6 and 10 games. So I've got to do a much better job because we don't respond, and then our communication breaks down, and it's not even close. Thomas is really trying to lead a team, and he's not getting a lot of help. But he's trying to make up for a group of juniors that just really have no ability right now to see past themselves when it comes to what it takes for us to be successful on the tee as a team.
So the juniors, James Blackman, Robert Johnson, those are the two main ones.
Yeah, those are the two guys.
Josh Newkirk.
Yeah, he's their little
transfer.
Point guard. Yeah. So the question is, do I think he's on his last legs in Indiana?
Yeah.
I do not.
I think he'll get another year.
I do too. I think Tom Crean has recruited at a high level. As we have talked about before, he's won Big Ten titles.
He's won 2 of the last 4 Big Ten titles outright.
Unreal.
It's just in between that, he went 7-11, missed the NCAA tournament, 9-9, got eliminated in the first round, and then this year they probably won't make the NCAA tournament. So those first 3 years, you can't even he took them out of what Kelvin Sampson nuked that program.
No doubt.
And he brought them out of that. And then now all of a sudden you win Big Ten titles. Are you gonna? That's a bold call to fire him.
Totally agree.
You better have a guy if you're gonna fire him, and that's a difficult. That's a difficult thing to find at Indiana. I don't know if it's Archie Miller. I don't know if it's somebody else. Like you had Brad Stevens down the road for a little bit.
Yes.
And he thought that's the perfect guy.
Yep.
And I think Brad Stevens would have taken that job. But do you have that guy?
I don't think you do, and that's the interesting thing, and I'm not sure, and I don't know the AD's name, I forget, from Indiana. Maybe he has already kind of searched. I think that's done before, or is done in the past, where you kind of throw out feelers. If he has that right guy, then yeah, but I think Tom Crean is back at Indiana. I really do. I just think that he's had enough success there that he deserves another year. This isn't a great year. I love what he said there.
They've had injuries, too.
They have had injuries.
And that's not the biggest excuse, because I don't know if they're a great team without him.
No, I agree. We just had somebody on the text line. That clip sounds like it could be Gross talking about the Illini.
Gross kind of brought up the seniors.
He did.
And that's Hill, Abrams, and Morgan.
Yep. I don't mind a coach doing that.
A lot of people hated under Weber.
Yeah, well, he was just, it seemed like all the time.
Yeah.
That was the problem. I don't mind if it's well placed, then I don't mind that, because you can use that as kind of a tool to get your team going, essentially.
Yeah.
Next question.
Hey, thanks, John.
All right, Ron, what's a better job if these both come open? Illinois or Ohio State?
Come on! Oh, man. You're talking basketball.
Yes.
I was trying to make it easy for myself and go, are you talking football? Man, I think it's a tie, Jeremy. I'm not even trying to get out of this. I
think it's Ohio State right now just because of the brand.
I don't think.
And their more recent success.
No, they've totally had more recent success. I'm not sure I respect the Ohio State basketball job as much as you do.
I just respect the Ohio State brand.
Well, no, there's no doubt. I mean, you've got a football program that is able to...
And the recency of their relevancy. Illinois has been relevant guys for a decade.
No, that's true. If you're talking now, you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, historically, they're close.
I think I'm going historic on you, and you're going
more. I know,
more
but Ohio State's had some good success historically.
They had a lot of great teams. Jerry Lucas and those guys. I'd probably have to lean Ohio State.
Yeah.
But that is, for me, that's a really difficult question, and it might be that I'm a homer. All right? I'm not even going to lie to you on that one.
They both can be great jobs.
They could both be
They both can be great jobs. I think the better job right now is Ohio State.
Could we move the city of Chicago to Indiana? I mean, we all want that anyway, right? And then would we have a better chance, Illinois, of recruiting Chicago if it was Chicago, Indiana?
You've done better in Chicago than you have in Indiana.
Yeah, that's true.
And Chicago still has the suburbs.
That's a good call.
And you've done pretty well there.
Good call. And John Gross has been here for how many years? And he's got one Indiana kid, and he's from Indiana.
Yep.
Come on.
Next question.
Lon, will you root for Northwestern in the NCAA tournament?
Yes, I would. And I'm not one of those guys that, first of all, I don't hate Northwestern, and here's why. Northwestern's never really beaten me at anything. So, I mean, I know they're better in football right now, But it's not like on a historic level Northwestern's gone out and just dominated to where you sit there and look at that like, oh, man, I wish we could be them. For most of my life, Illinois has always been better than Northwestern, so I don't have the hate for that school. I think it's a cool story. If they can make it to the NCAA tournament, I would definitely root for them. I'm not a guy that automatically roots for the Big Ten in the NCAA or in bowl games. I'm not that guy. I know a lot of fans around here and a lot of fans around the Big Ten automatically just go, hey, I'm rooting for Ohio State because of this. I don't know Ohio State anything. So I'm not one of those guys that automatically does that. But, yes, I would root for Northwestern. I think I know your answer would be yes, right?
Yeah, sure. In-state.
Yeah.
Yeah, Northwestern, Illinois State. I'll be rooting hard for those teams.
How about that?
It'd be fun to watch an in-state team in the NCAA tournament, huh?
I want SIU to run the table in the Mo Valley
Go
tournament.
For it.
How about Southern and
I'd
Illinois
root for them,
State?
too.
That'd be awesome.
Eastern, bring it. Northern, bring it. Juan, who's harder to root for, the Warriors or the Cavs?
Oh, wow. Can I ask you this one? Because that's more of the NBA.
I think the Warriors right now.
Yeah?
I think the Cavs are kind of this underdog team right now. they got probably one of the greatest rosters we've seen here recently with Kyrie, LeBron, Kevin Love.
I agree.
I mean, it's a ridiculously expensive roster. I like that he's put so much money into that. Dan Gilbert. No, LeBron still needs playmakers. I know LeBron. Right. I think LeBron's easy to root for as a person, and I love watching him play. The Warriors are such a fun team to watch, but I think because they kind of got this Heat thing going on right now.
I agree with you.
I mean, Kevin Durant couldn't beat him, so he joins him, and hey, can't blame him. It's his happiness, and he's ring chasing. But
they got a little arrogant after that Thunder win the other night. Didn't they have T-shirts on that was just...
That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. But yeah, to a lot of people, they don't like that, so... It's
amazing that the Warriors were like America's sweetheart. And I just still think a lot of people love them because they're so fun to watch.
They are.
But it feels like it's kind of tilting towards the Cavs a little bit.
I totally agree, and that's interesting. We'll see. I mean, can Cleveland beat them again?
I think so. I think it'd be a great series. I picked the Warriors, but
it's going to be. Hey, today, this is interesting. Today, Russillo and those guys, they asked the question, are people not trading in the NBA because they automatically think the Warriors and Cavs are in it? And I mean, it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. We can talk about that one.
Next question.
All right, Jeremy. Michael Finke said his mom, Laura, wants him to cut his hair. Should he?
No.
Heck no.
No, dude, you don't know how long you're going to have it.
Exactly.
Speaking with somebody with experience with that, and I love Jeff. Jeff's lost his hair, right?
Yes.
I mean, he's got the same haircut I do. So just enjoy those locks while you got them, Michael.
I'm the same way.
Grow that thing and I think when it's not in the man bun, I think it looks phenomenal.
It does.
The flow, the lettuce, whatever the kids are calling it nowadays.
The lettuce. Huh?
It looks great.
That is interesting. Harry Black would probably have he'd probably know what the heck that's
Keep
called.
Keep that thing going.
Keep it going. I'm with you. At least, you know what? I mean,
get it in a ponytail.
Maybe right at the end of the season, change.
No, let it go.
Okay. I can't imagine having that much hair in the summer, though.
Now, Tracy Abrams should cut his hair. Not a big fan of that.
I think those are kind of cool.
Not a big fan of that.
No?
No.
I think they all should cut their hair once summer comes, all right?
Okay.
Because it's too hot.
Next question.
Well, on the Blues have won 4 straight.
Look out!
Fire coach, look what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Blackhawks have won 5 straight. How far do each advance in the playoffs?
I think the Blackhawks get to the Western Conference Finals. I will say that every year until they're finally done being the Blackhawks.
Blues win the cup.
I think the Blues are out in the first round. There's too many holes. I mean, Jake Allen is finally playing well again, and Mike Yeo has changed that system to where it's slow down hockey a little bit. They're kind of jamming the neutral zone a little bit more than Hitchcock did, but they just don't have. Fabry's out now with the ACL tear. They just don't have. They'll lose if they make it. They'll lose in the first round. Duh.
Next question.
White Sox Nationals reportedly close to David Robertson being traded, but now it's a stalemate. Is the deal going to be done on this?
It should have been done a long time ago. I think the Nats, it's reported
makes sense, doesn't it?
The Nats are hesitant on spending more money, even though they signed Adam Lind, a first baseman, today. Robertson makes a pretty decent salary, but compared to what the relievers have made on the market, I think they're just really leery of the White Sox.
Yes.
After the industry just said the White Sox destroyed them in the Adam Eaton deal. But the Nationals probably got to give up a top 10 prospect and maybe a second-tier prospect to get the Robertson thing done. But they need a closer.
They do.
I think Sean Kelly, one of their relievers, could do it. But they need more in that bullpen. And David Robertson makes too much sense. It's going to be interesting to see who blinks first here. But the White Sox have shown they're not going to do that. they got their price. You got to meet it because they can just take Robertson, who's got 2 years left on his deal. They could take Robertson all the way into the trade deadline, just like Quintana.
It's interesting how it's this window that is open right now for the Nationals, and they can't seem to take advantage.
Right.
So that'll be
next question.
Juan, would you rather be the child of Jay-Z and Beyonce or Derek Jeter and Hannah Davis?
Who's Hannah Davis? I don't know her.
The supermodel, SI swimsuit. There.
And Beyonce's hot too.
You judging based on your mom?
No, I'm not racist. I don't know if I want my mom being that hot. You know, not that Jan Tay wasn't a great looking lady.
Great looking lady.
I just don't want all the guys to be like every time, be like, dude, your mom's hot. I'm like, yeah.
Well, you got to pick one,
dude. It's Jeter. Because he can get me in any sporting event. Not that Jay-Z can't.
Yeah, I think Jay-Z's got a better chance. And you'd be much richer if you were Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I know. I think that's a win-win either way,
no,
right?
I don't know. Hannah Davis could be ridiculously rich.
I'll go Jeter. I think that'd be cool to be
Hannah Davis
a dad that Major League Baseball player.
Hannah Davis is 5'10", so you might have some height.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah, I'm taking that. Who are you doing? You doing Jay-Z?
Who am I taking?
No, who you
I'll take Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Who are you doing?
Yeah, I'll take Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I think, come on, waking up every day and your dad's Derek Jeter.
That's cool.
Be like, yeah, man.
But he can't play anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Jay-Z and Beyonce
Jay-Z's still doing it.
Got a lot of bullets left in that gun. They're going to be big for a long time. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, 217-359-2255.
Hey, we'll have the winner of our DP Doe office hookup. We'll do that next, and your calls and texts, 359-2255. It's Tay and J Show.
This is Chris Raby inviting you to follow the Redbirds this offseason on the Cardinals Countdown to Opening Day show presented by Amaranth. Join me along with Mike Claiborne for the latest news on the 2017 Cardinals. We'll hear from Mike Matheny, John Mozeliak, Cardinals coaches and players, and Cardinals broadcasters John Rooney, Rick Horton, and the voice of the Cardinals, Mike Shannon. Catch all the Cardinals action right here on the Cardinals Countdown to Opening Day show, presented by Amaranth on the Cardinals Radio Network.
Prairie View Landscaping is in their 25th year in business. And between now and February 23rd, sign up and receive up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care service. Not only that, but on February 24th, they'll select one winner who will receive free lawn care all year long. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Prairie View Landscaping, celebrating the 25th anniversary with SJ Broadcasting. mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Don't wait until the last minute this year. Impress her. Valentine's Day will be here before you know it. Not sure what to get the one that you love? Timothy John Salon and Spa has the answer. A relaxing facial, a manicure, pedicure, or cut and color. Just a few options that Timothy John Salon and Spa offers. Treat the one you love to a day of pampering. Purchase gift certificates in any amount and get her something she will truly love from Timothy John Salon and Spa. 404 West Green Street and online at tjsalonandspa.com.
ILLINI. Cheer on the Illini at Pia's. The pregame fun starts at Pia's Sports Bar and Grill. Pia serves up its famous 10-ounce Slugger Burger along with great wings and so much more. Enjoy 350 22-ounce light and course light drafts every home and away Illini game. Watch the game at Pia's or ride the free shuttle to all home games. You'll find it all at Pia's with live video gaming, sports, food, drinks, and fun. See you at Pia's, West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. But even today, there's still one path to success that only requires a dream and about $10. Because if your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. Right now at Vistaprint, you can get 500 customized high-quality business cards for only $9.99. That's $9.99, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Just go to Vistaprint.com, use promo code 8080 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 8080.
Protecting your home and family, you better have a plan. Keep them safe from harm with a home alarm from F.E. Moran. Home invasions are on the rise all across the land, but they'll think twice when they see the sign for F.E. Moran. Don't wait till it's too late. It's time to make a stand. Call 877-FE Moran. F.E. Moran. Alarm.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire.
If you're familiar with cloud computing, you probably know that Amazon Web Services offers a complete set of secure compute, storage, application, and deployment services that help companies launch and scale their IT infrastructures while lowering costs. But did you know that you're still responsible for protecting your own AWS-based assets, meaning your applications and data, from advanced cyber threats? Protect your AWS with Barracuda Network's advanced firewall solutions. Visit AWS Marketplace or barracuda.com/AWS to learn more.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Did you watch any of the Grammys, Ron?
I did not.
And these guys accepted an award.
Is there a rapper named Chance?
Chance the Rapper slayed it. I'm not even a big rap fan.
Right.
But he was awesome.
Every Facebook, Twitter post I saw was that guy just dominated.
White Sox fan.
Nice. Dude, everything's looking up for you guys.
That's right. We have 5 top 100 prospects in all these lists.
Hashtag White Sox problems.
That's right.
When is that going to be a thing?
3 years.
3 years from now. Okay.
Hopefully.
By then, maybe the Cardinals will they'll still always be good. Cubbies might be,
But that song coming in, 21 Pilots.
Yes.
That was Stressed Out. They won, I think it was either Best Rock Performance or something, Best Rock Song, for, I believe it was either Stressed Out or Heathens. And they won it. And when they left their seats and got in the aisle, they took off their pants.
Oh, like warm-ups?
No, like their actual dress pants. They took off and they went up and accepted the award in their underwear.
Why?
Because 5 years ago they were watching the Grammys.
Right.
And it was those two. It was just a 2-man band. It was those two and a couple of their buddies. And they're all watching the Grammys in their underwear.
You're kidding me.
So they're probably wearing T-shirts and
they probably said at the time, if we ever win one.
Yes, that's exactly what they said. If we ever win a Grammy, we will accept it just like we are right now.
I love it.
So
there you go.
That was a really, really pretty funny and really cool story.
That's cool.
That you can always dream big and all that. But,
amen.
There were some pretty good performances. Bruno as Prince.
That's what I heard. That
was really good.
Okay. I don't know why I don't watch those shows.
I think it was Marin Mason. I maybe screwed that up with Alicia Keys. They were really good. Gaga with Metallica was really good. Beyonce did this big artsy thing.
Okay, I saw. Was she on the who was on the sitting in a chair?
Yes, that was Beyonce.
That's the only part I saw, and I was like, "What is that?"
I didn't get it.
Is she pregnant?
She's got twins. Yeah.
Okay.
Twins on the way.
Because at first I looked and I'm like, she's gotten big.
I didn't
realize the time.
I can appreciate art and going for it. So I was like, hey, that looks cool.
Yeah.
The song didn't play for me.
I saw it for a minute and then I just went to the next thing. I'm just not a Grammys guy.
Are you an Oscars guy?
No, I don't watch any of those award shows. I don't watch the ESPYs either. To be fair to everybody.
It's a great Twitter event.
Yeah.
Because you get to see all these hot takes of Beyonce's performance, of all of these performances, people hating everything that's popular in music.
Yeah, of course.
This is terrible. Well,
so Metallica did something with Gaga?
Yeah, Gaga was awesome. Metallica, James Hetfield, the lead singer, his mic wouldn't work.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what James was talking. Okay.
So he just tossed the microphone. He slammed his guitar after it. I mean, you're the Grammys. You got to get the sound right.
Holy cow.
But it was basically Gaga had to share her mic the entire time.
You're kidding. Okay.
But they were good.
I probably need to go back. What I want to do is YouTube Bruno. I want to see his.
He's really good.
I want to see his tribute. Was JT on there?
No.
Is he just taking a couple of years off?
Well, JT's got a young family.
Okay.
He did. I think he won one or was nominated for Best Original Song for a movie because of his "Can't Stop the Feeling."
I just thought
but Sharon played.
Oh, yeah.
He was really good.
Wait, Can't Stop the Feeling didn't win anything?
Well, I don't.
Man, that was
Adele and Beyonce. It was Adele and Beyonce for everything. Adele won everything.
Oh, my goodness. Can't Stop the Feeling, man. That was the summer song.
It's not about what's the most popular song. And even then, Lon, Adele, hello.
See, I don't even know how they picked the Grammy.
Well, it's just a bunch of music people picking who they like.
So it doesn't go on sales alone.
No.
Like based on sales. Okay.
No. It's who they think is the great artist, and Adele's
It's hard to argue
ridiculous.
Adele.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue that. There's no doubt about it. I was going to say so. Sean Harrington, by the way, next hour, ESPN college basketball analyst. We'll talk more about the Fighting Illini and then spring football coming up. We also have the 200 level tonight with Steve Breitweiser and Mike Carpenter. Should be
that'll be interesting. Yeah, they'll talk with us at 5:45.
I mean, they have to move on to a list, right?
Oh, they already
did that last week, or
2 weeks ago. Yeah,
you have to do it.
Spring football starts tomorrow. On anything you're interested in from spring football, Illinois?
If there were,
because Crouch is out,
right?
Jeff George Jr. is going to be your guy who's getting all the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey Dudek isn't going to be doing much,
which is fine with me.
Dre Brown isn't going to be doing much.
Okay.
Your freshman class, who you're so excited for, you got Carmani Green,
right?
Who's wearing number 5. That ends the streak of running backs, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Delshawn Phillips is a junior. Yep. You get to watch him. Owen Carney, defensive end, who could play a role, and Hojo Watkins on the offensive line. So you don't get to see all those guys. Dwayne Lawson isn't here yet. We don't know when he'll quite get here. So just there's not going to be a lot, I don't think, to watch.
There's not.
To kind of measure the success of this team. That's part of the reason I think they wanted to do this early. It's because they have so many injuries on this team. A big part of their 2 deep is going to be joining them in the fall. That there are certain guys I'll be watching in the offensive line, defensive line to see how much they progress. See if Cam Watkins gets better in the secondary. Right. But it feels like you're not getting your team until June.
It'll be strange, I think. And if you're covering this like you will be for IlliniInquirer.com, it would almost be hard to come up with stories about what to talk about on something like this. Now, I would be interested if I went out there day one, which is tomorrow. I would want to see Owen Carney. I'd want to see Carmani Green. I want to see the new guys, Hojo Watkins. Those are the first ones I want to see. I want to just kind of see how they look. That would probably be my first interest.
Now, there are guys that will intrigue me that might not intrigue the average fan. Darte Lee at strong side guard. He's probably going to have to start this year. Wow. So he started the first game last year. How much has he progressed? How much has his body changed? Doug Kramer, who right now is the backup center, he might be the starting center so you can move Allegretti. I want to see Gabe Meganson.
Right.
How much has he progressed? Because you could see it out of Allegretti last year. Jamal Milan, he's a little banged up. I don't know how much we'll see him. But Tamir Alver, Tito Odenabo, those are guys who are going to have to make a contribution. And then the linebackers. We think we know what we're going to get out of Phillips and Watson. But does a guy like Julian Jones or Justice Williams or Jake Hansen step up? Jalen Dunlap, I feel really good about your cornerback. Is anybody else? Okay. Does Watkins take a step forward? Evan Jones is a redshirt freshman that has the physicality, the length. Speed is okay. But then those safeties, do they take a step forward? Stanley Green and Patrick Nelson. So there's certain guys, but most of the guys you're really intrigued by, Ricky Smalling, Larry
they're
Boyd,
not going to be there.
Bobby Roundtree, Dwayne Lawson, they don't arrive until the fall.
It's so weird. And who was the freshman last year linebacker?
Dele Harding?
No. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true. Yes.
What about him?
I'd be interested in him. I mean, I think
he's hurt though.
He's hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. That's going to be an interesting spring.
Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of.
It's going to be a lot of reps for guys that need reps. Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's why spring game not happening.
That's not a bad idea. They don't have enough guys. Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst, joins us next hour. It is the Tay and J Show.
Check out the new BMW Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Are you sure you're on track to reach your retirement goals? Wondering how much money you'll need to last your lifetime? Whether you are retiring in a few weeks or a few years, we can analyze your needs and create a plan that's right for you. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
It seems like in every home, there's at least one room that's either too hot or too cold. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Mitsubishi Electric has your comfort solution. Mitsubishi Electric cooling and heating systems are up to 40% more efficient with no ductwork and whisper quiet. Individual room control, giving you the freedom to find your perfect comfort level and save money too. Make your whole home comfortable again. See Lance Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for your comfort solution and live better.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lands is your local Mitsubishi Electric Diamond dealer. Our technicians are experts at solving your comfort needs, one room or your whole house. Let us show you how a Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Cooling System can save you money now. Your comfort is our priority. Call Lands today at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
This time of year, love is in the air. It's everywhere. For example, you love the University of Illinois, you love Game Day Spirit, you love all their t-shirts, and you love things that are free. So, at Game Day Spirit Band Store, they want to show you the love. Free t-shirts are available now. Just text Game Day to 555-888 to claim yours. Text Game Day to 555-888. Game Day Spirit with 2 locations to serve you. Corner of 6th and Green in Campustown and South Neal near Kirby in Champaign. Go Illini.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement questions? Our experts from Kramer Siding and Windows can help. Thinking you could use some extra help with landscaping? Think Country Arbor's Nursery. Experts are online, waiting to talk to you at StevieJay.com. Talk to Dr. Shu and our experts from West Main Dental to keep your smile bright. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Radio Line, Jim Metzler. Democrats don't have the votes, but they still did their best to keep a controversial cabinet nominee from winning confirmation. A Senate vote expected shortly. Fox's Jared Halpern live from Capitol Hill.
Democrats did throw up roadblocks for the president's Treasury Secretary nominee, but Stephen Mnuchin is expected to win final confirmation with Republican support this evening. But 2 more cabinet nominees should see much wider support, including President Trump's pick to run the Veterans Affairs Department. David Shulkin is currently an undersecretary and a holdover from the Obama administration. And Linda McMahon is expected to win confirmation tomorrow morning to lead the Small Business Administration. Jane.
Thanks, Jared. During a joint news conference at the White House,
we cannot let the wrong people in, and I will not allow that to happen.
President Trump alongside Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who did not take issue with the president's immigration ban.
The last thing Canadians expect is for me to come down and lecture another country on how they choose to govern themselves.
Trudeau said Canada would continue its policy of accepting refugees. President Trump did not answer a question shouted after the conclusion of that news conference about his national security advisor. Fox has learned Michael Flynn apologized to Vice President Pence about not being candid about his conversation with the Russians about U.S. sanctions. An hour after Kellyanne Conway said Flynn had the full confidence of the president, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer read this statement.
The president is evaluating the situation. He's speaking to Vice President Pence relative to the conversation.
And the Trump administration reportedly plans to sanction Venezuela's vice president, accusing him of being a drug kingpin. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
with 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions. Visit ADT.com.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Evacuation order remains in effect for nearly 200,000 people north of San Francisco because of concerns a dam spillway could collapse. But there is some good news today. Fox's Gernal Scott live with the latest.
That's right, Jane. The water level is dropping, but it's becoming more apparent in California that there may have to be repairs to the Lake Oroville spillway before people who are asked to evacuate can return home. Hundreds of thousands were given an hour to leave on Sunday. Butte County Sheriff Corey Honey says a plan is in the works.
That will get people back to their homes as soon as possible, as long as we can preserve the public safety.
But could it have been prevented in the first place? Officials say they are now looking into allegations of structural concerns dating back more than a decade, Jane.
Thanks, Gernal. Protesters protected by groups of veterans say they are going nowhere. This despite a court ruling that allows for the completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline.
U.S. District Judge James Boasberg rejects the Standing Rock Sioux and Cheyenne River Sioux Native American tribes' argument that the Dakota Access Pipeline on public land would endanger their cultural sites and water supply. The decision just days after the Army Corps of Engineers gave developers the green light to finish the $3.8 billion pipeline in North Dakota. It's been the cause of so much controversy amid months of continued protests and delays by the Obama administration. Energy Transfer Partners says it expects the pipeline to be operational in under 3 months.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, the son of former Penn State assistant football coach and convicted pedophile Jerry Sandusky, now facing 14 child sex abuse counts himself. One of Jeffrey Sandusky's alleged victims, the teen daughter of his live-in girlfriend. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News Radio.
Jane.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 32. Tuesday, mostly sunny, high 51, a low of 25. Wednesday, sunny, clear, high 37, a low of 26. Right now, partly cloudy, 42 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
Okay. Before we get to drive time, I just want to apologize for how crappy I was that last segment.
I think you could have pulled it off without acknowledging it. I didn't think it was that terrible.
We were talking Grammys, and I didn't see it, and you were doing a great job explaining it. I'm just like, right. I don't know what to add to that.
That's fine.
I know. And then
Some things aren't your thing.
You brought up spring football, and I was like, I should have 100 questions for spring football.
No,
and I'm
you
like,
probably shouldn't.
I got nothing. Oh, it was horrible. All right, so my apologies.
I don't think a lot of people are going to be interested in a lot of this breakdown because there's just not much out there.
There really isn't. But you know what? Whether we like it or not, or whether we're interested or not, it's going on tomorrow.
And I'll be covering it.
And you'll be there. That's all we care about. You'll be there.
It's Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Monte, as we recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show.
Well, Illinois basketball lost to Penn State. Illinois basketball has been passed by Penn State in the Big Ten. That is dangerous. That is scary. That puts me into a depression mode.
Who has not passed
Rutgers.
Illinois in the Big Ten?
Rutgers.
Yeah.
That's it right now.
I mean, if you go down the list of programs you're buying stock in for the next 3 or 4 years, who you buying?
I mean,
over or who you buying Illinois over? Maybe Rutgers.
Yeah, that's it.
And I don't know how far away they are from Illinois.
Now,
how far ahead they are.
If the right coach gets in here, if Josh Whitman makes the move,
Yeah.
which we all agree should happen, if the right coach gets in here, if this recruiting class comes in and they're pretty good, if Tillman's decent, if Trent Frazier is what we hope and pairs with Tijon Lucas and JCL, and you've got a fun little 3-guard lineup out there, I think Illinois could pass up some of these other teams in a hurry. But right now, you're right. I'm buying everybody else but Rutgers as in terms of a better future right now, and especially now better than Illinois.
I mean, Iowa, those freshmen really intrigue you in the future. Obviously, Indiana, even though they're struggling. Maryland, Michigan State, Minnesota has passed Illinois up. Nebraska has passed Illinois up, in my opinion. Northwestern, obviously, has passed up Illinois. Ohio State, but they still got some talent there.
They'll be fine.
Penn State passed up Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's time. It's time to make a change. And it's time to start thinking about who that guy could be, because we know Josh Whitman has to be. He's left with no other choice. He wanted John Gross to succeed. He backed him for this year because he thought he could do well in recruiting. Hit that.
Yep.
You got a good point guard coming in. You got a 5-star center coming in. That's great. You got some other in-state kids. You're trying for Mark Smith right now, but you're going to miss 4 straight NCAA tournaments.
Wow.
You are going to maybe have back-to-back losing seasons for the first time at Illinois in 42 years. You're going to miss 4 straight NCAA tournaments for the first time since 1980. Illinois should do better.
Yep.
They can do better, and now it's up to Josh Whitman to find the person who will do better. Because if you don't, Lon, as we talked about, Illinois is pretty irrelevant right now.
Totally.
If you don't win in the next, if you don't turn this thing around, you are nationally and regionally irrelevant. Stop talking about top 15 all time in wins.
Right.
It's what are you doing now?
Yep.
And the last 10, 11 years, Illinois has been one of the worst programs in the Big Ten.
I told Carp one day, you may have been in here, but I think it was Carp doing the show, and I made mention of, I think we were talking Minnesota, maybe basketball, and I said to him, it's Minnesota. And I'm like, I've just never been a big, not a fan of Minnesota, but I've never had any confidence in them winning games.
Yeah.
Now to think that that's what every other fan base thinks of Illinois.
Yep.
Like, it's just Illinois. We ought to get a win there. To think that that's how far this basketball program has fallen is sickening. It's sickening. And these fans deserve better.
Like, people look at the schedule.
Yes. Yeah.
In both football and basketball.
Yes.
And say that's a win.
We're homecoming in football, and we're an automatic victory in basketball.
Yeah.
And now to top it off, now they think they can come in here and win.
Yeah.
And they're not only thinking they can, but they do it. And Penn State just did it easily.
Dominated you.
I mean, that is just...
dominated.
And by the way, I heard Pat Chambers on the pregame. I think it was Brian Barnhart that talked with him. He's very impressive. I know you've always been a big fan of him. I've liked him
for a long time. And it's not just say, I loved him before everyone else. His teams, what is Illinois like? Identity.
Yes.
Identity. And he had it. They have toughness. They play defense. And now he's finally landed those top kids out of Philadelphia. Tony Carr, Lamar Stevens.
Huge.
Those are great players.
Yes, they
Watkins. I mean, those are really good players.
Yep.
And John Gross has had 5 years. He's built no identity. And it feels like there's some talent here, but it doesn't fit together.
No, it doesn't.
They don't play like a team.
Nope.
It seems like they just roll the ball out there and like, what are we doing?
See, who wants to take it? Who wants to do well?
So, yeah.
All right, so who's next?
And that's the question moving forward.
Question.
For the last month of this season, I don't feel bad talking about this because it needs to happen.
It does. It totally does.
It needs to happen, and I don't expect Josh Whitman to expend all that goodwill that he gained on Lovie Smith on keeping John Gross for another year where Illinois is going to be projected to finish bottom 4 in the Big Ten again.
I don't think Illinois fans are expecting Josh Whitman to do what he did with football with Lovie Smith. In other words, I'm going to caution people not to expect some splash hire, all right? I mean, if it happens...
I think it's got to be.
It wouldn't shock me.
What
I mean by that is, if Kwanzo Martin is the next coach here...
That's a big hire.
Well, no, it's a big hire, but Lovie Smith was one of those out of the blue kind of things. That's what I mean. I would caution people about that. I don't think Billy Donovan's coming down, or Brad Stevens.
Or Tony
Bennett. But I think Josh Whitman, I have all the faith in the world that he's going to find somebody that makes sense for this program. And to me, Kwanzo Martin's probably on the top of that list in terms of making sense.
Yeah, we got a list up at IlliniEnquirer.com. Thank you. Monty Williams is a name we've heard because he's got ties to USA basketball. Jerry Colangelo, coached in the NBA for 5 years. People look at his record automatically and be like, oh, he can't coach.
Yep.
He was coaching the Pelicans.
Right.
And he made the playoffs twice, got eliminated by the Warriors the last time he was there. A lot of people think he got a raw deal in New Orleans. But obviously, his wife passed away tragically last year, but I heard he wants to get back in this thing.
Okay.
And Colangelo is back in this guy. So that's really interesting.
I'm really high on him
and
for
you
some
can
reason.
hire him like that.
Yep.
So that would be interesting timing-wise. Then there's all those other names people are going to throw out for the next month, and they're all worth considering. The Drew brothers would be really interesting. Hoiberg, I think, would have to be either Bobby Petrino and quit mid-year or get fired mid-year, and I don't see that happening.
And Gar Forman,
that's
Hoiberg's his guy.
Yeah.
Could Hoiberg go to Gar and say, hey, fire me? Fire me because I want to go take another job. But you guys brought it up, you and Derek Piper, about he's failing right now in Chicago, so we want him to come here and then recruit Chicago?
I don't think he's thought that well of up in Chicago.
Right?
So all these people, Fred Hoiberg had success at Iowa State. Well, that's his alma mater.
Yeah.
Right? That's his hometown.
Fred Hoiberg just doesn't do it for me.
I don't think it fits here.
No.
If that makes sense. I think he can be a good coach.
Yeah.
I think they've done a terrible job giving him the roster he wants.
Right.
Up in Chicago. You get this guy to run his system, and then you don't give him the pieces he needs.
That's exactly right. No, I totally agree.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense. But, Archie Miller, I've heard, doesn't really want this job. Buzz Williams, he listened, but Virginia Tech is really doing well there. Frank Martin, Ben Howland, Greg McDermott, Kevin Keats.
Yeah, I mean, UNC Wilmington, he's the guy, I think, kind of a fallback guy that you could have. But I think Whitman, the thing we saw about Lovie Smith is that he had a guy ready when he pulled the trigger. So we'll see if he can have a guy ready. The one thing about Monty Williams is that he would be available at any time. You wouldn't have to wait for another college coach to finish an NCAA, and that means that coach could start immediately on guys like Jeremiah Tillman and Trent Frazier to say, hey, I'm here now, here's the goodwill, let's keep you coming here.
Yeah.
So, and as opposed to other coaches that are going to be coaching until they basically lose in the NCAA tournament. So we'll see.
How many Big Ten openings do you think we have?
Ooh, wow.
Is Illinois the only one, or do you add Indiana and Ohio State to that?
I don't think Indiana.
I know those fans are ready to move on.
They are. I know, but I just don't
They've
think
won
it's
2 of the
happen.
last 4 Big Ten titles, but they're ready to move on. Here's a question. What should expectations be in Indiana?
It's been a while since you've won a national title. It's been a while.
Dang right it has.
So I'm not sure that...
I liked this from Big Ten Geeks today. Before Crean, Crean's been 61 and 42 the last 5 years in the Big Ten. They had Sampson and Davis, who won a combined 55 and 41 in the Big Ten.
Wow.
And Bob Knight. Knight's last 6 years, he was 60 and 42.
Unbelievable.
It's right on par with what Crean's done.
They've been the same for basically 12 to 15 years.
The 80s were a long time ago.
They were.
I think Indiana's a great program.
Yeah. Keith Smart's a long time ago.
I think it's one of the best programs in the Big Ten.
No doubt.
I don't think it's just a given, especially with these. We don't talk about this a lot. These expanded conferences add a lot of good teams and a lot more competitive teams. Like Maryland, all of a sudden, is in your conference.
Exactly.
So you have 6 teams or 6 programs that are really, really good programs as opposed to maybe 3 or 4.
That's well said. That is well said. And it's interesting. Now, Indiana, you do have the backing of a great fan base, obviously.
It's one of the top jobs in the Big Ten.
No doubt. So that'll be interesting to see what happens over at Indiana.
That's Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst, joins us next. It is the Tay and J Show.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
All those times they told us it was no big deal, that it was simply a man making a decision that was best for him. No hard feelings. Ha! That couldn't be further from the truth. We saw that Saturday night in Kevin Durant's way anticipated return to Oklahoma City. I told you all weekend that the fans would care. They would boo him loudly, and they did. Why? Because he led them down the long road of making them feel like he was theirs and they were his and he would never leave because he loved it there. And then he bolted, jumped ship to an easier road to a title. Weak, all of us Okies thought and still do think. Thus, his reception Saturday. But the intensity, the chatter, the clear disdain the Thunder players have for Durant was obvious. No big deal that he left? Please. The game was a blowout, but had the feel of a finals game. Everybody said that. And the only reason that blowout had that feel was Kevin Durant's 4th of July decision to bolt. It took 7 months to get the truth out of the Thunder players. KD's decision did hack him off, and it should have. In 60 seconds, why you should never say a negative word about one of the most polarizing sports figures in decades.
Samsung's washers and dryers don't just have features for brilliant performance. They're brilliantly priced, too.
How brilliant?
Buy the pair with up to $600 off.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, and you can purchase in-store now. Samsung. Bring it home.
Offer valid January 11th through March 1st at participating retailers. Discount taken off regular retail prices. Retailer's displayed price reflects discount. Actual discount may vary by model and retailer. Offer is non-transferable and void where prohibited or restricted by law. Prices as marked.
Hi, this is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. Many entrepreneurs love the flexibility that comes with owning their own business. Kabbage offers a line of credit of up to $100,000 with the flexibility small businesses need. Apply online or from your phone. You will get a decision in minutes and can use any amount you need when you need it. Kabbage has provided over $2.5 billion in funding to 90,000 small businesses and is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Go to Kabbage.com or call 888-KABBAGE. That's Kabbage with a K.
Saturday night, 75,000 special needs children across all 50 states and 11 countries across 6 continents had the night of their lives. They were kings and queens, dressed in the most beautiful of dresses and suits, dancing, smiling, laughing, loving a life that hasn't been so kind to them. Why? Tim Tebow, the guy you might make fun of for his sub-200 batting average, the guy you might think should forever hang up his cleats and quit trying to be something you think he's not, the guy who is too religious for you. It was the Night to Shine event, and it was incredible. Look it up. 75,000 special needs children were the focus of attention for one night. They'll never forget it. And the next time you want to knock Tim Tebow, you shouldn't forget it either. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Dari Noak.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
What will you plunge for this winter? Maybe you'll plunge for a family member, a coworker, a friend, or a teammate. Or maybe you'll just plunge for fun. On Saturday, February 25th, join hundreds of brave participants as they take the plunge into the icy waters at the Lake of the Woods in Muhammad for the athletes of Special Olympics Illinois. Sign up for the annual Law Enforcement Torch Run Polar Plunge presented by Geico, and you'll be freezing for a reason. Don't want to plunge? Donut Dash instead. Register or support a plunger at plungeillinois.com or call 355-1750.
The one constant in life is change. Throughout our lives, we go down roads that we never imagined, and we need to be prepared for whatever comes our way. Want to own your future? Contact Country Financial Representative Jesse DeHaan. Jesse can help put a solid plan in place with insurance solutions to help make sure you're protected for whatever lies ahead. Get started today. Contact Jesse DeHaan in Champaign at 352-3466 for Country Financial.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals, a nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. But even today, there's still one path to success that only requires a dream and about $10. Because if your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. Right now at Vistaprint, you can get 500 customized high-quality business cards for only $9.99. That's $9.99, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Just go to Vistaprint.com, use promo code 8080 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 8080.
For over 145 years, Busey has been committed to improving the quality of life in the communities we serve. Since we first opened our doors, we've been reinvesting in our communities, one project at a time, from financial guidance and support to energetic volunteers and committed leaders. Visit Busey.com or stop by one of our many convenient locations for solutions to your banking and wealth management needs. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
ESPN 93.5 invites you on our annual bus trip to see the St. Louis Cardinals take on the world champion Chicago Cubs Wednesday, April 5th. And it's all brought to you by Rosati's Pizza in Urbana. Buy your bus and right field game day tickets for just $99. Or register to win a set of free tickets at Rosati's Pizza, 701 Gregory in Urbana. It's our annual bus trip to Busch Stadium at St. Louis to see the Cubs take on the Cardinals Wednesday, April 5th. Get information on the trip by calling 367-1195 or at ESPNCU.com today.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5. 5:23 from the Sports Center Update Studio. I'm James Woodard with your Sports Center Update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care. That's Prairie View Landscaping at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Illinois dropped their 12th game of the year. This time it comes against the Nittany Lions from Penn State. It's 80-73. At halftime, Penn State takes a 12-point lead into the locker room. Illinois made a furious comeback in the second half, cutting the lead down to 5 points before letting the game slip away from them. Malcolm Hill led the Illini with 14 points. Tejon Lucas had 11 points and 7 assists in his 33 minutes. The next game is against Iowa this coming Saturday. The Bulls are now 3 games under 500. That's after they lose to the Timberwolves 117-89. Butler, Mirotic, Wade all out of that game with injury. Paul Zipser gets injured during that game, and I'm not sure there's a basketball team left in Chicago anymore. Tom Thibodeau has won both of the meetings between his new club and his old one. Jordan Spieth won his 9th PGA Tour event, taking first at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He was 19 under par, taking home nearly $1.3 million. Cubs, Cardinals, both getting spring training underway. Cardinals pitchers and catchers reported today. Cubs report tomorrow. And according to Jerry Krasnick of ESPN.com, Travis Wood set to sign a 2-year deal with the Kansas City Royals. John Heyman reporting that could be worth $12 million. And one of Jerry Sandusky's sons has been arrested and charged with multiple accounts of sexual offenses involving children. I'm James Woodard with your Sports Center update.
Jeremy, we have a show on Monday that follows us. I don't know if you knew this. But for all your Illini basketball talk, tune in each Monday from 6 to 7 for the 200 level. Mike Carpenter, Steve Breitweiser, both from College Game Day Live, will hop on ESPN 93.5 each Monday through March.
This segment brought to you by 10,000 Villages in downtown Champaign. Now through tomorrow, Valentine's Day, get 25% off all fair trade jewelry and select Valentine's Day gifts. So guys, if you need a last-minute gift, 10,000 Villages in downtown Champaign is your choice. You can choose from a beautiful selection of handcrafted earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings, and more. 10,000 Villages, 105 North Walnut in downtown Champaign.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, here until 6 o'clock. We talked a little bit of spring football. We'll give you a little more chatter on that, but we are going to have a crosstalk with Breitweiser and Carp coming up around 5:45 to get you ready for the 200 level tonight.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, 217-359-2255 on the Chief Bauer text line. Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst, joining us now on the Jupiter's the Crossing phone line.
Harrington, won't you come talk some moves with me? Harrington, won't you come? Won't you come? Harrington, won't you come? Harrington.
Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst. Sean, Penn State basketball, better program than Illinois. Go.
They're on the rise. There's no question about that. And when you look at the two rosters, it's hard to argue
what you would rather have in the next couple of years. Penn State obviously has some really good freshmen and a couple sophomores too, and Peyton Banks and Shep Gardner out as juniors. So that whole team is coming back, and it was going to be a matter of time. You kind of thought Patrick Chambers put a couple good classes together, and it's starting to come together for them a little bit this year. And that's a team that could make some noise next year and possibly could be dancing next year.
Sean, we said at Penn State, I think they have a brighter future in the short term at least than Illinois. Northwestern, I would say yes, right?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with what Chris Collins has done there. And again, you see what happens when you put a couple recruiting classes together, and that's what it takes. You have to build a program. 3-4 year players, guys are going to be in the program for 3 or 4 years, and it doesn't happen all at once, and it takes some time. You got to have some patience with it, but definitely, I'm impressed with what Patrick Chambers has done. I'm very impressed with what Chris Collins has done, and it is two programs that are having very good years this year. Northwestern obviously better than Penn State, but two teams that definitely for the next year or two have very good rosters that can be competing and be up definitely in the top half of the Big Ten, and for Northwestern maybe even a little higher.
How about Minnesota and Nebraska? Would you buy them over Illinois in the next couple of years?
I like Minnesota's young guys. I do when you look at with Mason and Jordan Murphy and those two guys that you start talking building the team around those two guys. They're going to lose a little bit with Springs. That's going to be he's played really, really well here in the last 3-4 weeks. Lynch obviously is coming back, but they need to build inside as well once they lose him after next season. But I do like their young guys. I'm not completely sold on Nebraska right now. Okay. There's still just some holes in that team that's a team that I'm not sold on completely right now.
Follow Sean Harrington on Twitter. It's at SMHarrington24. The loss to Penn State Saturday afterwards, John Gross talked about how his older guys did not come and did not play. And there's 3 of them that we kind of can pinpoint, and that would be Malcolm Hill, that would be Mav Morgan, and Tracy Abrams, that they didn't feel like they didn't bring the energy that he wanted. If you're one of those guys and you're to the point now where the NCAA tournament is probably not going to happen unless, of course, you run 5 straight at the Big Ten tournament, which probably isn't going to happen, would that be just a kind of a dud game because you're just kind of depressed by the season, or is that just a one kind of, a thing that just happened on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's probably more of something that just happened for those guys. I think, Tracy, in my opinion, obviously he, statistic-wise, has hit a big wall here, and he's really struggled. I would never question his heart. I would never question his attitude, his intentions. And then as far as the other two, those are your 2 most consistent players. Yeah. And it's not even close. You can go the entire season and compare Maverick Morgan, Malcolm Hill to the other guys on the team. And as far as a consistency standpoint, what they bring every night, what they're going to show up with. So, it's something that they've been asked to do a lot, and I feel like they've done a lot for the team, those 2 guys. So probably more just a one-time thing. Are they wearing down a little bit? That's a possibility. You're asking Hill to do a lot. He had just as simple as covering Peter Jock when Iowa was in town, and he did a great job on him. You're asking him to do a lot. You're asking him to score. You're asking him to play different positions. And Morgan really is playing the most minutes and having the most contribution that he's ever had in his career as well. So no question those guys could be wearing down a little bit. No question they could be disappointed. It's a frustrating season. It's been a very grueling season for them. And when you don't have wins to kind of back it up, you start to kind of have a toll on your body.
He's Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst. Follow him on Twitter at SMHarrington24. Sean, just as an alum of this program, I want you to kind of maybe take your analyst cap off a little bit. How has this gone downhill so quickly? And, since you played, which was just, 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like you said, it didn't happen overnight. That's the thing. It's been a gradual change now over the last 10 years. And obviously, it's frustrating as a former player. You want to see the program do good, and we felt like when you graduate, we left it in pretty good hands, and that's kind of, you take ownership in that, and things are heading in the right direction, and you go through a couple coaching changes, and I think really what it comes down to is just recruiting, and that's really what it is. This is a recruiting business, and it's not necessarily getting 5-star kids and missing out on 5-stars. It's getting the right kids, and it's building the right program. And I think both Bruce Weber and John Gross had missed on that on several times. Instead of just building the program kind of from the ground up,
right?
Maybe it was trying to get a transfer or a one-time guy, or maybe recruiting the wrong guy in several instances, and just not putting multiple classes, recruiting classes back to back, and then maybe just trying to get guys that fit your culture, and that's one thing that you really have to do as a coach or as a program, is either recruit guys to your system or make your system work around the guys that you're going to recruit. And I don't think there was enough consistency over the last 10 years of that. Is what are we recruiting for, what are we recruiting to, or what is our system going to entail if we get these kinds of kids? And I think that's where there's been some mistakes over the last 10 years, is just not molding a system or a culture to fit the guys that are in the program at the time.
I hate having this conversation, Sean, because there's a month left in the season. I want those guys to win some games, but for us, I mean, the focus is on the future. And Josh Whitman, I think his hand has been forced. He wanted to support John Gross, and he will through the end of the year. But he has to make a move, because I feel like this program is very close to being nationally and regionally irrelevant more than it is right now.
Right.
So in your opinion, you played here, what does the next coach have to have? Like, if you had to tell Josh Whitman what the next coach, or if you had to give him advice on this, what does he need to have?
Yeah, it's. I think it's somebody that has to have complete belief in what they're doing, and you have to probably take a look at track records and see what they've done, maybe other places, or where they've been involved with. It's obviously the fan base would want some crazy splash, big name, something like that. That's what everyone's looking for. But you really have to look for a guy that is not going to probably listen to anybody of the fan base,
right.
and not worry about what the fan base cares about, and not worry about maybe what the AD wants him to do recruiting wise or not. You have to have full belief in yourself. That what you're going to do and what you're going to bring in recruit-wise and system-wise is going to work. And I think in the state of Illinois, at Illinois basketball, that takes a real strong personality because it is a state where the North is very different than the South. It's a different base. It's a different fan base. It's a different clientele. You're recruiting kids from the city. You're recruiting kids from farmlands. You're recruiting kids out of state, and I think it's a unique situation in Illinois, but it can be a difficult one if you don't have that real strong personality. And it's a very good job. It's a great position to be in. It's a great conference. It's a great school. But I think you have to have a really strong personality. You have to have confidence in yourself to know no matter what I do, I don't really care what the fans say. I don't really care. Even what my AD says at times, I'm going to make this work over a 3 or 4 year period and improve myself.
Sean, this is a tough question. You were a recruit at one time. A tough question because I think this is just so individual to each recruit. But part of the fear with Illinois fans, and probably with Josh Whitman as well, is how much are you going to lose of a recruiting class coming in if you change coaches? If you were a recruit, and when you were back in the day, how much would that bother you if Illinois would have changed coaches before you came to school? In other words, I mean, I know, again, that's hard, but how much do you think that's going to play into the recruits? Is it as easy as if it's the right coach, we're good to go? Or what would you feel like as a recruit?
Yeah, I hate to say this, but it's 50-50.
Okay,
and here's why. Going into the situation, I picked Illinois because I loved Lon Kruger, and I loved what he would do for me as a player. So kids fall in love with the coaches. That's who you're getting recruited by.
Sure.
That's who you have to play for. You have to like their style. But then the other thing is you have to like the school. And I really, I have a passion for Illinois and being from the state. The other thing that plays a factor is where do you fit in the roster and how do you get along with your teammates? And that's something that you kind of pick up on through the recruiting process, maybe on your official visit. Who's playing at my position? Who's playing along in the other position? Does this guy make me a better player if he's playing alongside me? So there's a lot that kind of goes into it. So to answer your question, I almost went through that because Kruger left after my freshman year.
Right.
And so it wasn't going into my freshman year, but it was after my freshman. I could have transferred and had 3 really sit out 1 year. You have 3 full years after that. So it's your whole career basically ahead of you. But what I looked at it was I loved my teammates. I loved my school. And I loved playing alongside the guys that were there. And we did not know Bill Self very well. He was coming from Tulsa.
Right.
We were not real familiar with him. And it worked out great for us. And so it was a wonderful situation. We would have done great with Line Kruger, but we did great with Bill Self. And so it worked out well for me and the players on our team to stick it out because that's how I evaluated it. And I can't tell you how every player did each individually. But going into it, I loved Line Kruger. That was why I was going to Illinois, but it was also Illinois and teammates that were there at the time.
Yeah.
And then when Line Kruger left, it was the teammates in the school were enough to keep me there no matter who was going to be coming in, and then it worked out really well. And so I think it's going to be recruit by recruit, individual by individual, has to weigh why did they pick that school. Was it just the coach? If it was, then you're going to lose those kids. Was it because of who they get to play alongside of, the fans that they get to play in front of, the conference that they get to play in? Then you're not going to lose those kids. And I think that's going to be different for every kid based on what they made their decision on.
Well said.
Good stuff for Sean Harrington, brought to you by Chief Bauer Service Experts. If you need a heating expert, call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them at chiefbauer.com. So we saw John Gross come in here and get the most out of Bruce Weber's roster that was left. What is this roster that the next guy, hypothetically, would inherit? Because there's some nice pieces, Sean. Like Tijon's a pretty interesting guy that I think can be a solid Big Ten point guard. LeBron's a really good rebounder. Jalen's a really good shooter. Finke's a dynamic player. Kipper's interesting. Without the recruits that are coming in, what is he inheriting at the base of that roster?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, you're going to recruit a pretty athletic team, and you're probably looking at a more guard-oriented team, more outside. You look at it that way. You're going to lose Morgan. You're going to lose Thorne. You're going to lose basically your 2 back to your basket scoring guys. So when you look at what's coming back, is a lot of perimeter, and LeBron Black is as close as you got to maybe a guy scoring around the blocks right now, and Finke continue to develop. But it's a roster that's going to be athletic. It's a roster that can have some interchanging parts, and obviously the freshman class is a huge question mark, and that's how quickly can any of those guys adjust and develop. And sometimes you just don't know that. And I think that's probably the biggest question mark is how good can those guys be, and how quickly can they be good? And sometimes it's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year before you see some of those guys develop.
Sure.
And we're seeing it at Michigan State right now. That is an incredible freshman class, and they're struggling at times. And some of them have picked it up, and some of them just quite haven't gotten it yet. And that takes time. So I think the most interesting thing with this team moving forward is what does happen with that freshman class, because there's a lot of players in there. There's some really good players, but there's a lot of question marks when you're relying on a lot of freshmen to play major minutes.
Sean, Indiana, Tom Crean had some harsh words for some of his players. What do you make of that when a coach kind of singles out a few players? And I know the natives are restless in Indiana, even though they've won 2 of the last 4 Big Ten titles. There's been a lot of inconsistency. So what do you make of that Indiana situation?
Yeah, they're struggling right now, and obviously there's a few injuries that have helped to that, but that's a situation too where Tom Crean definitely probably feeling some of the outside pressure, and I would imagine they had some deep down talks as a team behind closed doors about this several times. that some of those upperclassmen are going to have to lead. They're going to have to show better examples for the younger guys and help them to develop. And at some point, you reach a breaking point. And I don't love coaches throwing players under the bus, but at the same time, sometimes it's the truth, sometimes it's the reality, and it's something that maybe needs to be said to light a spark finally. This has been going on now for a good month in that program, and he didn't say that a month ago publicly. So was he trying everything he could behind closed doors? We don't know. Did they have meetings? And maybe he felt like this was the way to get those guys' attention. And that's where a coach has to have a really good feel for his team and know how do you push their buttons. Is that the right way to do it? Has he tried other ways? And we don't know that behind closed doors. But obviously, frustration in Bloomington. It's still a very talented team, even with some of the injuries that they had. It's a team that should make the NCAA tournament, even with the roster that they have, even losing OG. But they're going to struggle now. They have to win some serious ball games here down the stretch, or they're not making the tournament this year.
Sean Harrington, last one for me. I was doing my traditional 10-mile run the other day on Saturday. Maybe it was Sunday. And ESPN showed a stat of their, what do they call it now? It's their, they basically seed the top 4 seeds in each region. Yeah. So I'm sitting there running, and I look, and I'm like, okay, there's nobody in the East. There's nobody in the Midwest. There's nobody in the West. And I'm like, well, hold on. There's not one Big Ten team amongst that 16. The great thing was my mind started going into overdrive as to why that is, and the next thing I knew I ran like a half a mile in that little time frame. But that's alarming, Sean, that the Big Ten wouldn't have a team in that top 16.
And now Wisconsin, their best chance.
Just lost? Yeah. I mean, that's alarming. And Illinois stinks in that conference. Dang it!
Well, I think you probably just hit the hammer on the nail right there, and that is exactly right. And it's been a fun season to watch because there is so much parity.
Yes,
but it isn't the top heavy that we've seen in the past. And Wisconsin and Purdue are the 2 teams that could make a run. And you could say this about any team. Obviously, it happened to Michigan State last year. They lose in the first round. They could have been a national champion, or they lose in the first round.
Right.
But I truly believe that those 2 teams are the only ones that can make a Final Four push.
I agree.
But they could also get knocked out in the first round. It would not surprise me this year, where Michigan State surprised everybody. That was a national title contending team. So that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a league that has 2 good teams that could make a late push to an Elite Eight. You have a bunch of other teams that are very good and will be tough matchups and tough outs, but I don't feel comfortable with any of the other ones making a late push getting to the second weekend, except for maybe a couple of them. And I think the committee kind of showed that. And I think that's why it was a huge win for Northwestern, because I think you're nervous right now if you're on the bubble and you're a Big Ten team and all their resumes are the same. And what's going to separate them? Clemson, I believe, is 3-9 in the ACC, and they are in the tournament right now for some people. So it just shows you where they think the strength of the conferences are right now. That a team like that can get in, and it's a very good team in Clemson. But you're 3-9, and then you've got teams in the Big Ten that 9-9 may not be good enough to get into the NCAA tournament this year. You might have to get to 10 or 11.
It's crazy. It's one of my most enjoyable segments always. Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst. You honestly amaze me with your basketball knowledge, and I love chatting with you on it. It's just too bad we can't talk positive Illinois, but maybe it's you.
It might be.
Maybe it's you. Yeah.
You gave me a huge compliment. I have all my basketball knowledge, and in a couple of weeks, we got to pick our fantasy Big Ten, and you win it all the time. So I don't know. I think Warner and I we're throwing the tournament on purpose to make you look good.
Right, I think it is.
This could be one of the more interesting drafts, guys.
Goodness,
this is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, this will be fun.
I hope I don't get the first pick.
No, right.
That's right. I'll defer to the second half.
Yeah. Sean Harrington, always great stuff. Always appreciate the time, buddy.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Thanks, bud. Sean Harrington, great stuff. ESPN college basketball analyst.
I do have a little bit of breaking news for you with the Illinois football staff. We'll get to that when we come back from
awesome.
I
can't wait.
I'm just about to post the story right now.
Okay, 359-2255. Tay and J Show.
Hi, I'm Damon Hackelman, owner of Clean Right in Champaign. If you're looking for a trusted restoration service company, just look for the guys in the blue trucks. At Clean Right, we understand that life happens, and we're ready to help. Our experienced service technicians will provide you with not only a quick response, but also honest answers and advice. For water, fire, smoke, or mold restoration, we're there when you need us. Call Clean Right today at 351-4930. That's 351-4930. Or just Google Clean Right Champaign.
Hey guys, Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show, and for this Illinois basketball season, we have a brand new show on ESPN 93.5 called The 200 Level. Ride the roller coaster with myself and Steve Breitweiser each Monday night at 6, right after the Tay and J Show, every Monday through the NCAA tournament. The 200 Level is brought to you by DP Dough, Shambana Sales, Cheap Hour Service Experts, and Heiser Allstate Agency. The 200 Level, Monday nights at 6, beginning January 9th, only on ESPN 93.5 and streaming online at ESPNCU.com.
We're taking you out to the ball game to see the 2016 World Series champions. ESPN 93.5 is sending you on an all-expense-paid trip to Mesa, Arizona for Cubs spring training. So get out of the dugout and register to win now at Brusati's Pizza on Gregory and Urbana, Vapors E-Cigs LLC in Champaign, Danville, and Rantoul. Register today at Champaign Surplus in downtown Champaign, Honda BMW in Savoy, or at the U of I Meat Sales Room on Maryland Avenue in Urbana. The more you register, the more chances you have to win. Our Grand Slam Cubs spring training trip includes $1,000 cash in airfare or gas money. 3 nights at the Sheraton in Mesa, rental car included, exclusive post-game dinner with select players, tickets to 2 games, and custom Cubs merchandise. Don't take a rain check on this contest. Register now to win. Get rules, details, and a full list of registration locations at ESPNCU.com.
Attention. Do you have outstanding federal student loans? Then get ready for a special free offer. Graduate Service Center wants to give you free information to see if you qualify for one lower monthly payment or student loan forgiveness. The call is free, the information is free, and there's absolutely no obligation. See if you qualify for lower monthly payments or loan forgiveness. Call now. 800-801-4950. That's 800-801-4950. Don't wait. Call now. 800-801-4950.
Guys, don't wait until the last minute this year. Impress her. Valentine's Day will be here before you know it. Not sure what to get the one that you love? Timothy John Salon and Spa has the answer. A relaxing facial, a manicure, pedicure, or cut and color. Just a few options that Timothy John Salon and Spa offer. Treat the one you love to a day of pampering. Purchase gift certificates in any amount and get her something she will truly love from Timothy John Salon and Spa. 404 West Green Street and online at tjsalonandspa.com.
Napa know-how.
You can start a car with a bad taillight. You can start a car with a busted radio. Heck, a car can start with an astonishing number of broken parts. But a bad battery? You're going nowhere. So go with the Napa Legend battery. Now with up to a $20 prepaid Visa card by mail. $20 back and a battery you can trust? No wonder they call it a legend. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 2/28/17.
The Upper Bout in Champaign, a music store with a different kind of attitude. Their showroom features high-quality brands from Gibson, Martin, and Taylor guitars to Vox, Mesa Boogie, and Analog Outfitters amplifiers. The Upper Bout's expert staff will personalize your experience, answering every question and setting up your guitar exactly the way you want it. Whether you're a lifelong musician looking to add to your collection or a lifelong music fan looking to buy your first guitar and take up lessons, The Upper Bout has you covered. Stop by The Upper Bout on Neal Street in Champaign, next to El Toro, or visit them online at theupperbout.com.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Duracon from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company. And if you've thought about replacing those drafty windows and doors, call us right now. Take advantage of 30% off our windows and 30% off our doors. These are the vinyl windows that tilt in for cleaning and never need storm windows. Also, our beautiful Paragon doors come pre-painted and have deadbolt locks built right into them. So if you've thought about replacing your windows and doors, call us to take advantage of 30% off plus 0% financing.
Attention. Do you have outstanding federal student loans? Then get ready for a special free offer. Graduate Service Center wants to give you free information to see if you qualify for one lower monthly payment or student loan forgiveness. The call is free, the information is free, and there's absolutely no obligation. See if you qualify for lower monthly payments or loan forgiveness. Call now. 800-801-4950. That's 800-801-4950. Don't wait. Call now. 800-801-4950.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Latte, Jeremy Warner. Also joined by Mike Carpenter and Steve Breitweiser, the 200 level crew. Do you even want to do the show? Or actually, the show could be fun tonight.
You can talk Illinois football if you want. I just want to pay off my tees. Illinois is expected to. The IMG Academy kids already know this. Okay. The coach told them today that Donnie Abraham will join the Illinois football coaching staff as an assistant. He was the IMG Academy defensive coordinator last year. Of course, IMG Academy is a prestigious prep powerhouse when it comes to, they got this great facilities, all the tennis, golf, all these things, and their football program is ridiculous. I mean, Virtus Brown and Houston Griffith are down there. Houston's going to visit this weekend, by the way, for Illinois. But he checks a lot of the boxes for what Illinois wants. He's a defensive coach. He'll probably be the cornerbacks coach, so Hardy Nickerson will be the linebackers coach. Okay. But he has ties to Lovey. He played with him under the Bucks from 96 to 2000. Played with Hardy Nickerson with the Bucks from 96 to 99. Played in the NFL for a long time, 112 starts in the NFL, played for the Jets as well, and deep recruiting ties to a priority area down in Tampa, Florida. He spent 10 years coaching high school football in Tampa. 3 is the Clearwater High School head coach, which is a good program, and now he's at IMG, which obviously has some big targets for Illinois, including Virtus Brown and Houston Griffith. And this just shows Lovey was not satisfied with a simply top half of the Big Ten recruiting class.
Unbelievable.
He's shooting higher.
Yes, he is.
And he's replaced his director of player personnel. Now he adds a much bigger time recruiter than Tim McGargle was. So Lovey is making this a priority. He's not playing around.
No, and it's okay to just smile when you hear that stuff, isn't it?
I'm just here to talk Illinois basketball. I'm not really interested in the program whose arrow was pointing upwards.
Right.
It's huge news, and I think, you read the tea leaves as to why a move like that was made, and then you get a guy like Houston Griffith coming in this weekend, and it doesn't assure anything. I mean, this is a guy that's getting offers from major programs, but at the same time, at least you're getting in to these recruitments where you weren't before. We kind of knew that was the direction it was headed, but now a move like this, even if it is just so transparent in why they made this move, the dividends will pay off far longer than even the 2018 class if Donnie Abraham's sticking around for a while.
So, Steve, who's the Illinois basketball equivalent of Lovey Smith that can get us all excited about where it's going to be about in a year from now?
Well, I'm on 3 different tiers of candidates, Jeremy, so I can break it all down for you right now,
or we can wait.
I'm on the record. I'm on the record, but it is a 3-tiered system that is a developing fluid situation.
Are we hearing all the tiers tonight?
We heard the tiers last week.
Okay.
But I think we didn't really get to tier 3, which I call the creative solutions department. But that would be a guy like Monty Williams, who keeps coming up, whose name is mentioned, who lacks that college experience, but you give him a really good staff, you let him hit the ground running. I mean, he could be here like, boom.
Yeah.
You're going to wait through the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Get this,
Guys, Illinois is below Penn State. It is below Northwestern. It is below Iowa. It might be even with Nebraska if I'm being nice. You're slightly above of Rutgers.
Nebraska has higher quality wins than you do. Now they have more losses and they have some bad losses.
I'm just saying as a program long term.
Absolutely. If you stay this course, and you aren't even going, this is not a plateau that you're at right now. I just see it continually getting worse, even if you were to bring in these recruits and say, well, now we got point guards. Tijon continues to look really good and excite you. But
he does.
It's unbelievable how in year 5 you aren't just mediocre. You're terrible. 1998-99 was a bad Illinois basketball team, but at least there was hope the next year with all the reinforcements coming in. But I cannot remember a single season like this, and people far older than I am cannot remember the program being in a state where there just is literally apathy is not strong enough of a word.
Yeah, it's really
hopelessness.
Yeah,
and that's why Whitman has to. I
agree.
This team can't win back-to-back games in the Big Ten, let alone run the table or win the Big Ten tournament. So, Steve, he's just not going to waste his goodwill that he's built up on this. So, I mean, he's doing his job probably, reaching out to people, talking to donors, and that's what this month is about. And I don't know how many people, I guess, will watch the games.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think his master stroke, when you go back and you write this, is going to be that he took care of the football so fast. Imagine if that didn't happen. Imagine if Lovie had not come in here. I mean, you're one full year ahead. Now he can fully take a look at the basketball program, make the correct decision, and move on with it. But can you imagine if that hadn't happened?
He'd be
sitting here trying to deal with the football and the basketball.
Wow.
That master stroke of getting Lovie Smith and bringing him in and cleaning up the mess right away, that is going to prove to be what allows him to make the right call here in terms of the basketball.
And he bought a lot of donors with that.
He did.
Right? He bought
totally
a lot of faith with that.
He totally did. And now it gets you excited as an Illini fan to think, what's he going to do next?
Hey, thanks to our guests today, Derek Piper, Lance Ringler, Sean Harrington. 200 level coming up next with Mike Carpenter and Steve Breitweiser.
Can't wait to hear it. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. It is the Tay and J Show.
It's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted rentals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
It's a familiar place you know. It's a relationship to hold on to. It's a place for families, a part of growing up, and a key to staying healthy. There are warm, friendly faces, people you trust because you know you're in good hands, because you know there's complete passion, professionalism, and heart. If it's your first time or another visit, you get the care you deserve at Illini Smiles Dental Care. Dr. Shu, Dr. Fott, and Dr. Lou and their team are ready to see you now. Illini Smiles Dental Care, 303 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign. Book your visit online today at IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. That's IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. Illini Smiles Dental Care. We love to see you smile.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.